Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Canadian Intercollegiate Esports Exhibition. It's day 2 of the League of Legends tournament. I'm TI Romeo, joined today with Spaffles, and we are watching U of T Ruby take on Humber College in one of the last rounds of the knockout stage. Draft has already started, so we're going to go right to it.
All right, lots of exciting things here to come out of this matchup. University of Toronto Ruby versus Humber Esports. These players, let me tell you, were anybody, and you can already see that by the half-baked draft we have laid out ahead of us. Romeo,
Of course,
why don't you
U of T Ruby taking out Zahen, Swain, and Kennen. On the other side, we see Humber College taking out Nautilus, Viego, Yon. Current picks locked in. U of T's already taken Zinzao, Kaisa, and Rel. Humber College countering with Aatrox, Ezreal, and we await their third pick.
Yeah, so really strong draft coming out here for both of these teams. I do want to start with a bit of an advantage here towards the Toronto Ruby, where they have a really strong theme going in here. They have a little bit of range with the Kaisa, but when push comes to shove, they're gonna have a really strong engage composition off the back of this Rel, off the back of the Zinzao. They'll be able to really isolate targets and execute them. Meanwhile, you see Humber, they're playing more of that defensive game. You have this Alistar now that got brought in the third pick, and his primary job here is going to be that disengage. You have an Ezreal that's also really strong at getting himself out, and the Aatrox, who loves being in a big brawly fight.
Yeah, it's definitely a very brawly comp. I do think I'm with you right now where I'm kind of favoring the U of T Ruby side. I mean, one, I'm a Zinzao main. Always love when Zinzao gets picked and Zahen doesn't get in the lobby. But also, I just think those three pair really well together. I think Zinzao complements Kaisa really well. I think the Rel and Kaisa combo is really good. Sometimes I prefer to see an Enchanter. I feel like I really want to see an Orianna come out from U of T Ruby, which did just get banned away. So never mind, I guess.
Oh well.
But I'd love to see some sort of mage in the mid lane, something that can kind of help further Kaisa and Zinzao. What are you looking for when we look at the top side of U of T Ruby and the mid side of Humber?
Yeah, when I'm looking at this top side, I'm searching for a pick that will help assist with this, maybe even a tank that will help round out this composition. They don't need to go full on Cassante, but perhaps someone that's a bit tankier, like the Renekton, that will help lead your team in, or maybe even a Gnar, who has that big explosive team fight potential that can also help you stomp those lanes against the Aatrox.
Talia gonna be the lock-in from Humber. I'm curious, do you think that's Talia mid, or do you think we're seeing that in the jungle? Because I know Talia jungle was a big answer to Xin for a while.
Yeah, I think there's potential that it goes jungle, but primarily I think this team is going to play it safe and they're going to send it to the mid lane. It gets a lot of value, especially since the Toronto Ruby are hovering this Azir. Hwei doesn't really fit with the rest of their team composition. They might be getting sent for a little bit of a trip here, but having Azir with the stream of shuffles, Aurora is the final lock-in.
We seen Aurora yesterday to some like big match energy on the group stages. And it was pulled out to, I think it went 8. It was like 8-0 and 12. It was like a perfect Aurora game we seen last night from U of T Ruby, I'm pretty sure. So I'm not super surprised to the Aurora lock in. And Bessa going to be the top lane pick, followed by a Poppy. Humber's team comp got interesting towards the end of this draft.
Yeah, I like all of that heavy mobility shutdown, and the Toronto Ruby are, further committing to this idea. Your Aurora, her only form of survivability is that dash. And when you have this Mbessa whose entire kit is reliant on those dashes, having a Poppy in combination with the Talia is going to do a devastating amount of shutdown, right? And that also opens the door a little bit to have your Aatrox bailed out of a lane he doesn't want to be in, because you can put that Poppy right up against the Mbessa.
Yeah, what I kind of liked about Humber's draft is that it doesn't really unveil where people are going in the current state of League right away. Because, like, although now looking at it, it's probably going to be that Aatrox in the top lane. Talia could have went jungle or mid. Aatrox could have went top or jungle. Poppy, even like now, could go top or jungle. So I think it's fun to see how they kind of like way to decide on what matchups are going to be the best. And I'm wondering if because that's either going to hinder your team identity towards the end or it's going to make it. And I feel like Humber, they have such this brawly, skirmishy comp ready to go in.
Yep.
What do you think team fights are going to look like between these two teams?
I think team fights are really going to depend on who gets ahead. right? You see Humber playing a lot towards their top side. Ezreal can be a really strong damage dealer, but he, at least in this setting, will have a really tough time nearly wading his way through these fights with all the heavy engage. You're going to want to disengage and play in sort of a pokey style. While all the attention here is going to be on the Aatrox. Meanwhile, when you look at the Ruby, they got one cohesive whole idea. They want to blow up one target, they want to do it fast, and then they want to repeat over and over.
Yeah, the explosiveness from Ruby's comp is something that I really like to see at this level of play, especially
Yep.
it's going to force Humber to make really smart decisions with positioning. It's going to make sure that people like Ezreal, like you're saying, are going to need to be with their Alistar. I'm wondering, there's a lot of roam potential you see out of these supports.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how much we're going to see that in the early game, or if that's something that's only going to start coming out around the 15, 20-minute mark. Is there anything like with the Rel and Alistar matchups? Is there anything you want to see out of those two specifically as we go through the course of this game?
And I do think that we're going to see a lot of roaming potential, but it's actually not going to be that much from the supports. I'm foreseeing a really roam-heavy game from these mid laners, especially with the recent Season 2 changes that punish you less and less for roaming. You get a bank of your lane XP, so your role quests don't fall too far behind. And the amount of potential that a Talia can have, just like popping on down to your lane, stunning everybody, and doing a lot of damage, I think we're going to see a lot of focus around this bot side with roams going down.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point to make as well, where it becomes a lot of. I mean, Talia's Weaver's Wall can just get you across the map. Between Worlds has been a very powerful like dash move, especially in yesterday. We were seeing a lot of Aurora and their team going down and just diving the turret, and Aurora being able to use that Between Worlds to take the first shot and just hop right out.
Yep.
So I think, and then like Rel and Alistar are great tanky supports for things like dives if they choose to play towards that bot side of the map. And then on the top side, you imagine the Aatrox and Ambessa are going to be having a complete bloodbath in that top lane.
Yeah, there's just going to be so much blood spilled, and with the current pacing of the game, you're going to want to have that, to snowball you forwards into this mid game, into this late, to get that first Baron, especially those early couple dragons. It's going to be a really big factor. But now, Romeo, we did rush into this draft a little bit, but what did you say we put some names to these faces?
Yeah, let's get. I think that's a great idea. Let's go ahead and bring up the players. Coming in on the U of T Ruby side, we have Kai, K-I-E, playing the top lane, Kabuku playing jungle, Masquerade playing mid, Snow Tunic playing ADC, and Abby playing support. Do you want to break down the Humber College players for us as well?
It would be my pleasure. Over in the jungle, we have Sir Tonix. Supporting the lineup is Monraj. In the middle lane, we have Kairu. Top lane, we got Lil Stir. And in the mid lane, you all know it and love it. We've got Lao Gan Ma, your favorite chili paste.
It's interesting though, looking at like their mains in this match itself. We're not seeing a lot of the top 3 comfortability picks. A lot of them were all banned away before we got in this draft. I mean, you see the Ezreal, you see the Rel. That's kind of the Talia. That's kind of it, though. There's not a lot of comfort picks that have come out in this draft. Yeah. And I think on one hand, not always the worst thing. Obviously, there's a lot of difference between what you see in competitive play and what you see in your solo queue games. But also, the team identities of both these teams, which is, unfortunately, we didn't see a ton of it yesterday in group stages. Group stages, there was, because it was best of ones, it was just a lot of bloodbaths and a lot of cheesy picks and a lot of, like, it was really fun to watch. But this, both team comps feel like we're going to get some classic 5v5 League of Legends, strong team identity, strong objective controls. And I'm really excited to finally see that in the tournament. I think a part of that is picking picks that are good for your team and not necessarily just good for your comfort.
Yeah, such about your long-term game plan. You can just sort of pick ideas, pick drafts that will throw your opponent off. There's an art to drafting in itself, and especially with your OGGs being public, all these team sheets are being shared around in the opponents. So having that extra element of surprise, having that, like you called out before, a lot of those flex picks that can either go and it makes all of that pre-game work
The
you know, a
one
lot more
thing, though, like you're
difficult to
saying with the
execute
best
on.
of one that makes it really scary is you have one shot, do or die in a knockout stage like this. If you lose, you're sent packing. If you win, you're going to be on the
Yep.
other game on our stream today because, of course, right after this, we're going to be going into that semifinals. We're going to be going into the best of three where the picks matter for more than just the best of one series. It's going to be a whole different drafting style when it comes to that because you have the fearless drafts that come up. One of the really interesting stories of this, though, between U of T and Humber is if you for our stream's sake, U of T Sapphire or Dindins is going to take on whatever team wins this match. Which means if U of T Ruby and U of T Sapphire win, our next stream is U of T versus U of T.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot into this, right? You did touch upon it. We are down to just the top 8. We had 16 teams competing for this spot just yesterday. So now that we're in a spot where you have to really make big plays. There's no double elimination. You don't have second chances. So if you're able to win here, it gives you that major massive boon, right? And as the team's ready to go into this, right? You did mention that
I
you are a big Zinzao
I
player.
heard
Can you give
there's an
me a little
AP
bit more light
Zinzao
on
build
that? You know,
going around right now. I haven't tried it yet personally, and when this stream is done, I might. All I know is there's an AP Zinzao build out there that if the other team doesn't buy heal cut, you like heal to infinity because for some reason they buff his like lifesteal ratios or something like that on his AP or like his on. I don't exactly know the specific buffs, but I know there's an AP Zinzao build. I'd love to see it. I think it'd be really funny, but I think overall their team has really good AP damage with Aurora. If Aurora gets super behind, I mean you can still build hybrid
yep.
Kaisa, so I think overall it's probably just an 80s in angle. Is there any interesting things when we're talking about like AD AP ratios and like tankiness? Any interesting things you're seeing on the Humber side?
I do got to give a quick shout out to those Ezreal changes. While AP is never going to be the full send, you know, amount of extra ratios that were spent on his ults, they more than against objectives, especially. So Ezreal is going to be a really big menace at stealing those objectives, using it to clear those waves. I know it's a little bit more of a boring way to use the ultimate, but you got to do what you got to do to survive and to hang on in those early games. But as for the rest of the team, I'm not seeing
Yeah, I
too
feel
much
like
that I'll pick out at
both
least.
the comps like, and I'm shocked at this because usually I can like in a draft be like, oh, there's like one glaring weakness of insert team here, but with these guys, it
Yeah,
really just feels like two super strong drafts. I mean, I always get a little bit worried when I see something like a, a large amount of bruisers and then like a poppy because poppies to me are very hit or miss sometimes where it's like you're either going to be really good with that warden's hammer or keeper's verdict and just sending people away or it's just going to be a really
yeah,
rough poppy game. But when they have a team that like is still solid on the bruiser route when you have a oh my god, wait a minute, we it is poppy top Aatrox
hmm,
jungle. So we're finding this out right now. There's a pause, so
yeah.
we're still gonna be staying on the cast screen a little bit longer. Hold in there with us. But we do have note, it's Poppy top, Aatrox jungle. I know Aatrox jungle got really, really big this season.
Yeah.
Poppy into Mbessa. Do you know a lot about that matchup, or is this should I look it up on u.gg?
I do know a little bit about this matchup, right? Because Poppy has a pretty explosive early game. She's able to match a lot of what Mbest is trying to do 1-to-1. But if you have a smart Mbesta player, if you have someone that is experienced in sort of a matchup, you'll know that, okay, I can't really approach this Poppy from this angle. I'm going to bide my time, scale up a little bit, get to level 6, and then once you have the point, you're able to move around. You also have the ability with Mbessa to just not take those dashes, right? You just can. You're not a right click demon like some of us are. You're able to just like play it slow, get a lot of chip damage,
So I looked up the matchup on u.gg just to see because I was curious about it. And like I think you've done a good job of explaining how this matchup works.
yeah.
58% win rate in Diamond Plus for Poppy. What? That's
Wow.
what?
I gotta admit, what?
That's insane, actually. I didn't realize the hidden
Yeah,
tech
no,
that
that
like
is
just came
crazy.
in here. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
I mean, yeah, it's a crazy counter pick, and it shifts a lot of power. Looking at a team that's on a ticking time bomb, it's going to be Humber in this matchup. They don't really have too much strong scaling. What they have in return of that, though, is a lot of strong CC lockdown. If they're able to find out one targets, you can just continuously CC them, you can stun them, and you can prevent them from playing the game. And hopefully, if you're able to land that on one of those key targets over on Toronto, you're able to, set yourself up for success. But when you look at Toronto, they have that pure scaling trifecta. Also have the ability to damage from range or
Yeah,
up
it's
close.
having those multiple damage types and those multiple ways of entry into a fight if needed can be something super useful. I do think though for both these teams,
Yep.
when we start seeing the skirmishes, the biggest thing we're going to be able to look for is who gets that river first, who gets that prio first. And I do think it is a lot easier for U of T to get prio generally than it is for Humber College. I feel like when it comes to U of T's team, you can just like Aurora's really good at clearing waves. I feel like Kaisa's not bad at it. I mean, like, obviously, Ezreal can be super strong in it later in the game, but it's just in the early stages. And with the Zins out, I do think I want to see U of T prioritize some of the earlier objectives and try to break a lead into that way, into those skirmishes. I just think you always need to be there first for either of these teams. Otherwise, it becomes a bit of a mess engaging into the other team and into the fights, which, like, I think good drafts tend to do that. It forces your playstyle in game to really, really matter. And I think this is one of those games where having good macro is going to be huge for both these teams.
Yeah, and the face of the macro itself has been transformed with season 2. I don't think we can touch on it too much because just how minute some of the changes are, but how far reaching. But just the fact that you have some things like your minions are tankier, right? So you're able to bunch up those waves. They're able to go a lot further, and you're able to, neglect your position for longer, right? To go and participate in those team
Mm-hmm.
fights, whether it's the top lane quest where you have that XP kin is nerfed a little bit, but it's actually buffed overall if you go and participate in more of those skirmishes, more of those team fights, get, double kills, triple kills, or just like triple takedowns, I should say. So it does promote a lot more of that teamwork aspect compared to last season where it did feel a lot more split push heavy with like a level 20 Mundo.
Yeah, oh god, level 20 Mundos. Mundo in my solo queue games, and Mundo just goes where Mundo pleases, and it's a nightmare.
Yeah,
those changes can those changes we've been seeing make a big difference. I think the biggest difference this season for the game itself is the ADC sixth item. I feel like
yep.
that's been a big change, especially for like game scaling. And like you were saying, you said you felt like Humber is on a bit of a clock. Um, where do you think this game goes if we get to the late stages?
I think when we go to the late stages, it's
Mm-hmm.
really good at having that Baron, having that wave clear for free is going to be a really big factor. But I think it also really depends on that kind of setup that you do in the when you have the first and second Drake will set you up for success. A really big point of contention early on in the game, because especially if you go 1-for-1 dragon or you concede both of those dragons early game, you're looking at like a 30-minute soul, and that's really out of the picture for a lot of the teams, at least with the current way the game is played.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the times, at least in the group stages, what we've been seeing is a lot of early dragons skipped. We've been seeing first
Yeah,
dragon taken around the 10 to 12 minute mark. There was one game it was taking at 6 minutes yesterday out of the three. Usually it was like 10 to 12 minutes. And we're seeing Soul at like 35 if it's going that late. Which I
yeah,
feel like a season ago, it was if dragon is spawned, you're there. If grubs are
yeah.
spawned, you can be there. You don't have to be. Now it feels like when grubs are spawned, you're there. When dragon is spawned, we'll wait a bit. It doesn't. We can afford to wait depending on the soul. Because if it's chem deck soul, it really doesn't matter. Speaking of which,
Yep.
what soul are you expecting this game? Let's play the caster bet. What soul
Hmm.
are we expecting?
I don't know. There's a lot of good choices here, right? I think if I want to give, you know what? I'll do you one better. I'll give you two souls, right? I'll give you what U of T is probably betting on, and I'll give you what Humber's probably betting on,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you're looking at the Humber team composition, right? I think they would really benefit a lot from these Cloud Souls. They have a lot of potential follow up on it. Just the mobility aspect to it alone, having all of that bonus MS is going to do you wonders. And then having an Aatrox with Cloud Soul just running you down, or an Alistar who's able to use it to position better, really, really strong for them. And then if you're Toronto, I think really what you're preying on here is one of two things. You either want to have a Hextech Soul to sort of slow down your opponents and really double down on a lot what your team's trying to do, or you want an Infernal Soul. Kill them faster. Who could argue with that?
Inferno Soul, classic. Oh boy, I also feel
Yeah.
like U of T could benefit from a Mountain Soul.
Okay.
Giving them like a little bit of a chance to like engage and stay in, like especially like I know it's usually like a super tanky thing, but I feel like having it on like a Rel Kaisa could be really really nice for U of T. However,
Yeah.
I'm always on the side. I think it's gonna be Cloud Soul this game. I have a feeling in my bones that we're getting a Cloud Soul, and I'm okay with that. I think Cloud
Mhm.
Soul, greatest soul of all time. You go fast, you zoom. Hecarim with Cloud Soul has to be the most fun champion on the earth.
You know what? I get it. I get it a lot, and especially with those air pockets around the jungle, you're flying everywhere. But I do see the point that you try to raise, right, with the Mountain Soul being a really strong point here. But I think that's another reminder that we can't devalue just the impact of individual dragons, right? Having 3% or 4%, what I'm not sure which number it is now, but having 3% more MR and armor is going to make you a hell of a lot more tanky, and at the price of one dragon, it's a bit of a steal.
Yeah, the price of one dragon being that like great percentage buff.
Yep.
Like, what's your favorite individual dragon to have? Like when you're like stacking individuals, or even just like having like a one off.
Hmm.
What do you like? Like, what dragon would you think?
I do think I kind of gave it away a little bit there. I really like having mountain dragons. I'll give a second up though, because I feel like it's a bit of a cop out. Hextech feels really nice for the characters I like to play. I like to play ADCs,
Mhm.
so the cooldown and attack speed, I dip into them both. It feels awesome. What about you?
Uh, I for some reason really like Ocean Dragon.
Okay.
I think it's just a lot of the champions I play having that bonus
Yeah.
heal is super nice. But you know what other dragon I think would be really beneficial for this game? What dragon I
Oh,
would
please
truly
tell me.
thank? The BMO dragon, ladies and gentlemen, our sponsorship for the CIE streams. BMO to help you focus on what's important. BMO has checking and savings accounts, credit cards, and borrowing options specifically designed for students. Open a BMO student account and get up to $950 in value, including $175 cash. With BMO's current student offers, talk about a dragon buff. Visit bmo.com/students for details. They also have BMO Next Level, which is a first of its kind program dedicated to helping gamers level up in game and in real life. Run by Sean Frame, BMO's gaming relations specialist. Sean brings a commitment to helping viewers achieve their financial goals and has a passion for gaming as an active member of the gaming community. You can type !BMO in the chat for more details. And also, if you know what's better than a Baron power play buff?
Oh, what's better than a Baron Power Play buff?
One of 6 gaming mice that they have supplied CIE, which makes you better at what you do. Type !raffle in the chat, guys, for a chance to win 1 of 6 gaming mice supplied by 1 of 0. Code like a maniac, design like a guru, and game like an assassin. Take pride in your setup and look good while you achieve it all. Discover your inspiration, defy definition, become 1 of 0. That's !raffle in the chat to be entered for that giveaway. And those are our sponsors. And with that, guys, we can get into it. We can get into the game. Our sponsors did it. All we had to do was pray to them and they let us watch some League. Thank you.
Man, I am so ready. We touched on it a little bit before. You have that Poppy in the top lane being piloted by a little Stir. And I also do want to point out our brand new Doran item makes an appearance here, one for each side. Doran's Bow on the Kaisa gives you a little bit of more attack speed, gives you a little bit of Omni Vamp. Very greedy as you're lacking a lot of the extra resists or the health that a Doran's Blade would give you. And you look on the other side, you have this Poppy who's starting off with the Doran's Helm that gives you some resist, yes, but most importantly, it's missing that regen passive, so you don't get any health refund when you're attacked.
We do also have the new rune on Ezreal, the new burn rune, which we were seeing yesterday. And I didn't realize how strong that rune is on some people. That burn, especially later in the game, lasts so long.
Yeah, it really earns its name, you know, being called the Deathfire Touch. It's really cool, it's metal, and it's really bassy, and it pumps a lot of damage into you. So I'm happy to see it get picked up on a lot very quickly. And we also see Talia has Storm Raider Surge equipped, so it's not quite as simple to use as Phase Rush used to be. You really have to dedicate and engage and do a really good chunk of your target's HP before you get the movement speed. But once you do, it's a really nice benefit.
I do think it's really funny every time we pan to bot lane, just watching Alistar headbutt someone right out of the fight for 5 seconds just for fun. Like, you know, like
Yeah.
I get we're trying to deny CS, it's not really doing a whole lot, but it's sure funny. Little combo here, little combo there.
Yeah, there's just a little bit of a love tap here. You already see Toronto falling pretty low there on the bot lane, and you're making up for it a bit on top.
Oh, lots of damage coming up from the Kaisa. A couple shots away. The Ignite goes through. Heal forced to be used. Mama Raj going to be able to get out of the fight, but a lot of health. A big punishment from the bot lane of U of T.
Yeah, pretty uncharacteristic engage there. It's really odd for an Alistar to get touched on that way. Although it does lead a little bit back to what you were saying before. Is he was using those headbutts really aggressively and not giving Toronto the space that they command back from them. So you're going to have a little bit of challenge there, especially when the Rel realizes, hey, I can just go and crash down on this guy.
Yeah, the moment the crash down comes through, you just have your Kaisa. Great follow-up to make sure that Raj is not going to be just punishing them with headbutts over and over again. Mid lane, we've seen a little bit of an engagement there. Aurora able to take the upper hand just on the basis that Talia has no mana right now. Then Zhao coming to bot looking for a play. Raj already super low. There's going to be a dash out, forced to flash. Ezreal dodging the winds to become lightning. The Audacious Charge can't follow up. Meanwhile, Raj down to 1 HP, forced to back. Zin looks like he's going around for another engagement. Meanwhile, top side, Aatrox is coming in for this. First blood happens on the bot side, but Aatrox trying to get a return kill. Kai's going to find Ezreal in the bot side as well. Kai flashing away, dashing away, is pulled back by the Darkened Blade and the Infernal Chains. 2 for 1. We have 1 kill on the top side of the map, 2 on the bottom side.
Yep, beautiful, beautiful gank there from Sertonix, really taking advantage of that timer. You saw how Masquerade forgone the Scuttle Crab and went immediately for that gank. Meanwhile, the Aatrox, clearing faster than him, was able to get the Scuttle, use that movement speed, and just run up the river there at Kai, catching him a little bit off guard. Having an early death here on the Ambessa does feel bad. Although, in terms of items, he was able to back with roughly the same amounts as the Poppy, and with the kill going over to the jungler, yeah, he has a serrated Dirk already, which is a really strong advantage. There's not going to be an objective to fight over, at least for the next couple minutes.
Yeah, and even then, Din did get a kill in that bot side. He's coming back with a sizable health crystal, not health crystal, but health buff back, as I completely forget the name of the item there. Meanwhile, on the top side, Ambessa just has a lot of CS over the Poppy. The wave didn't fully crash. They were able to get back and still maintain most of their wave. The big difference is they're going to be down a flash and a TP compared to Poppy.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult time to return from that. You know, getting an early assist is not worth 10 CS. And you have this Talia, right, from Humber, who got engaged on by the support. Now we're looking here for a little bit of sneaky angle.
Hex flash, stun, forces a dash out of Ezreal immediately. Raj able to headbutt them back, but that's going to be a lot of health chunked away from Ezreal. Going to make it harder to farm in this lane. Already having a difficult time down here.
Yeah, things are turning up the way Toronto as we prepare for a 4-man dive.
Masquerade walking under the turret. There's going to be the start. This is the stun, so Zinzao going to be the engagement. There's going to be the between worlds. Aurora finds the Alistar. Zinzao finds the Ezreal. That's a 2-0 jungler.
Yeah, you pointed out that missed engage, but it actually came out to be in B's favor because they didn't take that tower aggro. It was the Zinzao who was able to tank those 2 to 3 tower shots, and as a result, nobody gets traded out. Toronto looking pretty strong now with 4 entire kills on their way. Right, we also saw there was also a mid lane kill there that happened, or sorry, no, that's just a result of the mid laner roaming down. But still, you're putting yourself ahead. You have 1.5k ahead of your opponents, and now with the dragon spawned and the scuttle soon to be, or with the grubs soon to be, you have a really strong top side.
Yeah, you're looking very, very good if you're on UFT right now. You're up about 1,800 gold in this laning phase, which, although if you talk like later in a game, it doesn't make a big difference. Those first item spikes are going to be coming soon for them. Oh, there's going to be a public execution to help Kai try to get away from this fight. Dark and Blade going forward, but the Keeper's verdict only going to do the knockup under turret. Poppy ends up taking more damage from that heroic charge afterwards. Meanwhile, midway, we have a 3v2 for UFT. Rel able to roam up with the Alistar, but with Aatrox being on that top side, it's an easy skirmish win there for UFT.
Yeah, it's a good match and allows Toronto to, even though they didn't get that kill onto the mid lane like they were hoping for, they're able to find an angle here onto these jungle camps, and you see how well the team is working together to hover it, and it prevents the Aatrox from really finding a way in.
Blue buff going to be claimed there from Zin. I can feel the tilt when you're a jungler. Oh, the Weaver's wall comes in. Talia going to be able to get the knockback on Zinzao, trying to find the kill. The Crescent Guard saving them from a lot of damage with Ezreal over the wall, able to find the shutdown. Serotonic's the next to maybe go down, doesn't find any of the lifesteal, is the next to fall from Aurora. Kairu on the run. Rise gets stunned up. A huge shattering strike from Rel. It's going to spell disaster for that Alistar. Going to also result in the death of the Ezreal. It becomes a 3-1 play for UFT.
Yeah, you lose your Zinzao early there, but the buff transfer is complete. You see a little bit of a skirmish here, but Rel doesn't really have the damage. It's a flash and it ignites! And he pulls it off!
That's insane. The new plot of the B movie has a B under the second T2 turret. Finds the kill, but now they're caught in a rock and a hard spot. Serotonic's here to try to finish the job, pull one back, flash forward, a couple strikes. B over the wall! He's over the wall! Can he get out? Alistar gonna just stun him up and headbutt. Yeah, that hurts a little bit. But B, a brilliant engage. B's still going! Oh, shut down over to Kairu, though.
Yep, nice shutdown and a takedown for an Ezreal in need. Helps him get back into this game. Although he is still going to feel it, especially since we have this Kaisa now, who is the newly crowned owner of a cult. So, continuing to work here on widening this gap. We see Humber, though, at least using this time to get the first Drake. We put a lot of emphasis here on it before. If you're able to get these Drakes, if you're able to slow down that pace of the game, you're yourself valuable time later once Toronto starts to catch up on the scaling time frame.
Yeah, UFT right now in such a healthy position, being up that 2,000 gold. They might go down the dragon, but they're probably going to try to trade grubs back for it. At least I hope we see them try to prioritize grubs. But right now, they have such a strong Kaisa. They have a very strong Aurora. Their only lane that's even close to suffering is Ambessa, and that's a very even match. We do see Poppy try to slow down the tempo a lot up there with just buying those ninja tabbies or plated steel caps and just keeping themselves alive, making sure that Ambessa's not going to be able to do a lot of damage. And then as we see them get a couple more items, stun up, headbutt, and go backwards. We do see Rel just jumping under it, though. Easy full tilt away.
Yeah, a little bit odd there. We don't see a contest onto the grubs on the top half of the map, but that's the way she goes, and Toronto are able to claim all 3 of them. You were touching a bit before upon how this bot lane is going to explode, but we see there's already so much more action on the map. The Aurora able to narrowly escape her doom, and now the Aatrox chasing after her.
Still going to find that Q. There's going to be the wind becomes lightning, finds a double slow, and Serotonic Talia tries to find the knockup, is going to find the 3-talent strike, and there goes Aatrox. Wind becomes lightning again. Talia surviving with 1 HP, but the chase from Kaisa is going to make sure that Talia falls, and now Kairu going to be the next to sprint away, realizing this is not our fight. We've already lost 2 members. Another big victory there from UFT Ruby.
Yep, everything just keeps turning up blue, and you can see a little bit why they were on this side, blue team. Everything coming up fine, and you have this Ambessa, who, while this top lane has been really isolated from the rest of the game, but it continues to follow the rest of this theme, right? Toronto are able to pull away with some small advantages, and you see these roams come out every single time this Ambessa tries to do something on this top half of the map. You have this Aatrox here hovering the Poppy. It's clear that they have a lot of emphasis on it, although at the cost of their bot side, and I think that trade, unless we're going to be proven wrong here later in the game, might prove fatal for them.
Yeah, it's becoming a difficult situation, especially for Humber right now. And then, like, on top of that, we've seen the Poppy pick, and I was expecting a little bit more out of it in this landing stage. We're already 11 minutes. Oh, there's the pullback. Oh my God, Talia's health bar just completely chunked. Wow. Aurora 5-0. Oh my God, that was nasty. We do see Serotonix steal a blue buff, but that was nasty in the mid lane. Aurora might be the most powerful champion I've seen in this tournament at CIE.
Yeah, she does so much damage, so explosive, and now with her lane quest completed, she's gonna have a lot. But looking here over at the bot side, okay, that's a cheeky push away.
Teleports in just to get Keeper's Verdict out. That was really funny. We do see Kabuko getting stuck in a very scary predicament. I have Aurora used between worlds, trying to keep Kabuko alive, is going to chunk Kairu down to 1 HP with a twinfold hex. And now Kabuko just chilling, having a fine old time, back to being in a very safe position. Ezreal coming to the back soon. Serotonix caught between both sides of UFT. The knockup from Masquerade going to spell the end of Serotonix as he takes a one-way express trip back to the gray screen.
Yeah, the play's not over yet, though, as Humber cowering here behind this tower,
no!
forced into an early retreat. The Ezreal tries to dash away, but the Arcane Shift doesn't take him far enough.
Wind becomes lightning.
The Alistair is in a hard position here, as he's going to die slowly, but surely. The final tick of damage there from Kabucha is able to clean up that kill.
Killer instinct from Geisa, just dashing in from the turret, saying, hey, I want the kill. Give it me, and then just taking it like a seagull from Ice Age. Beautiful work.
Classic greedy ADC player. And, you know, as this game state continues to evolve, right, we have another 2 minutes to wait until objectives. So, these teams are able to do a lot of farming up. They're able to try to keep in parity with each other, but Toronto already starting to run away with a 6K lead. 6K at 13 minutes. This might snowball even harder into one of those, you know, speed runs that you're talking about before. It might not be a 16-minute game, but I'm definitely expecting it to conclude before 30, as even in this neutral top lane, we see the Ambassa starting to do serious damage to Poppy.
Yeah, and it becomes like, what are Humber to do when you're down 6K gold? I feel like we haven't seen as much skirmishing out of them as I would have liked. I keep feeling like every fight that happens, UFT is having the number advantage or baiting them into giving them a number advantage. Oh my God, kill public execution under the turret is... Oh, wow, the sweeping strike out of the turret is able to find the kill. I mean, Talia is here to finish the job and make sure Kai doesn't profit off of it. Same with Aatrox. We see how much damage they're still able to do in that 1v2, but we keep seeing them trade 1-for-1. Even in like that becoming a 3v1 situation, it's still a 1-for-1 trade for UFT. The numbers for UFT is constantly what they're able to use to their benefit or bait good plays out of. What do you think Humber needs to do to come back in this?
I'm gonna be honest, when you're in a position like this, when you're facing a team that has this level of coordination, I really think that it's Toronto's game to lose. Right? Humber do still have some avenues to help release some of the distress. You have that comeback gold. You have your jungle that's still available to you that Toronto haven't really been able to sink their fangs too deep into yet. But, you know, as I'm saying that, we have an Aurora who's really heavily pressuring your tier 2s. You're starting to lose a lot more real estate than you would like at this stage of the game.
Yeah, the real estate market looking like it is in Toronto in real life, where it's just $1 million to buy a house. Aurora, also, the Between Worlds ultimate, man, just being able to be in the middle of a fight, do a ton of damage, and then just dash away. I remember when they like announced it and everyone was like, oh, it's gonna be so OP, and they were right. I so genuinely think Between Worlds is one of the best ultimates in this game. And not just that, a good Aurora who can use it right makes all the difference in the world. And UFT Ruby, just such a powerful mid laner we've seen. And it's coming out here right now against Humber.
Yeah, and you know, as these lane swaps are finally coming out, right? We have Humber positioning themselves in a way that they want to fight this Herald, right? University of Toronto are staging themselves again. Toronto have so much of their net worth spent into their items. There's not really much more up to go from here. In a 3-on-3, the engage comes through onto Masquerade, and he falls first.
Oh, that is a very powerful play from Humber. Is going to claim that Rift Herald. Maybe they can use that to get some more objective bounties into them, get some more gold injection to find their way back in. They're already back down to only a 4,000 gold deficit, and now they're looking for another kill. The public execution goes forward, but it's not going to be enough to get Mbessa out of there as Kai takes the last shot from Talia, who's able to claim the kill. Mid-side, a solid 2v2 starting to break out. Alistar taking a ton of damage, but it's not going to be enough. The killer instinct is not used to commit to it, and Alistar able to get away is going to cost them that T1 turret.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of an overextend there in the middle lane. As you see the Aatrox coming out from the side.
Tries to find the pull, be able to get away from it. Kabuko trying to get some extra damage with it. Step back might cost them their life. Alistar flash pulverized headbutt knocks up. The shutdown is found by Ezreal. Now a B trying to get to the turret. Can they get away? They do. But 3,000 gold overall in this last 2 minutes back into the pockets of Humber.
Romeo, I just said it. The words just left my mouth. This is Toronto's game to lose, and that's exactly what they did. They fed Humber a series of fights, a series of kills, 1v4 that they were looking for, that they were hunting for, and then maybe the pressure was up a little bit. We saw Kabuko and B make a really risky play over on mid, and you saw just how quickly that backfired. A really big shutdown now, making your way over to Humber. This is a 3,000 gold swing, and suddenly you're no longer winning fights by default.
Yeah, 3,000 gold swing. You're only an item ahead of Humber now when you were 2 items. It's a big difference to make. Usually you see matches like a 5 to 6k gold gap, especially in like higher tiers. That, I mean, in like Grandmaster and what challenge, like 3,000 is a big difference. But like even in like Emerald Diamond, like 5,000-6,000 to 10,000 okay games like done. And Humber pulling back from certain doom to, okay, now we just need to consistently make good plays, catch 1 or 2 people out, and we're back in this completely.
Yeah, that's the angle that Humber need, right? And now armed with all of this, when you have 3k split amongst 5 people, that's about 600 per. Now I know it's not exactly even. You have a lot of disproportionate wealth on this Aurora. Well, she's able to get those kills. She's able to pop
twofold.
off.
Oh my god, the twofold hex. Half of Talia's health bar gone in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, it's not a position you want to find yourself in, but what's a little bit more likely, though, Toronto taking this blue buff with little to no contestation, and that's the sort of game plan that you have as Death Volley comp now. You're done with setting yourselves apart, right? Maybe you send the Aurora off to the far reaches because nobody can fight her yet. But as long as you have the majority of Humber within sight, as long as they're on vision, you're able to make a lot of those confident plays, and that really revolve around your Mbessa, around your Kaisa, and their ability to execute certain targets.
I think what I really want to see from Humber in this next fight, a good keeper's verdict. If they can find a good keeper's verdict on this Dragon Pit, sending a Xin Zhao, or best yet, if they can send an Aurora flying across the map and then dive into the fight, that will be huge for them to get the big comeback play to even up this game. And it looks like we're getting ready for it, posturing around that mid lane. Well, of course, the mid prio does go over to U of T, but Humber already in that pit, ready for the fight, forcing U of T to walk in. They have scattered across their jungle, not really the position you want to be in when you were there first, but Serotonic's on a good flank angle. A great Weaver's Wall, Little Star gonna charge the Kaisa right into it. Meanwhile, on the back end, we see Kabuko and Aurora doing a ton of damage. Kai still alive. Masquerade gonna be down. The jungler down for U of T. Kai on top of Little Star. Little Star losing a lot of health. Kabuko on the run from this Alistar B, trying to save them. Meanwhile, Kai and Aurora are cleaning up the back end. There's gonna be the public execution. Kai finding a double kill. Now just Serotonin and Raj. Raj, nowhere to go. Gonna be the next to fall. And now Serotonin just seeing how many he can pull back. And the answer is 0 as a double kill is found by Kabuko. And an ace over to U of T, only losing their Xin Zhao.
Wow, a beautiful, beautiful team fight there from Toronto. And it was really a fight of, it was 2 fights in one. You saw this Kaisa, you saw this Alistar kiting their way down towards the bottom lane. Meanwhile, Humber were hesitant. They didn't send their entire team together, and in that split, that is exactly where they fell. They didn't have the damage split between the right amount of people, so you fail to kill anyone past that Zin's out. You fail to kill this Mbessa, who was caught out in half health as the fight even started, and now with another Dragon go in the way of Toronto, you're starting to see that swing go back in their favor again.
Yeah, we're already back to that 6,000 gold lead, and we just seen with a fight like that, you're expecting Humber to do well in the skirmish. It just felt like they got really scared and went back into their jungle, and then didn't have a way to play out when there were all those walls there to be utilized by U of T. And just jumping on Kai with that Weaver's Wall, it was a good idea, the wrong target.
Yeah, I think that's the most apt way to describe what happened there. There's an assassination attempt being carried out on Sertonics, but it's very unlikely to result in anything directly. You even see the overcommit there from the Talia just to try and cover it. But is Lurster really going to die here in a one-on-one to an Mbessa?
Surely not. I mean, Mbessa does have an item up over them, but surely not. Surely if this gets bad, we just oh god, we're gonna hammer him away, right? Oh god, public execution gonna come forward. Little Star trying. There's the hammer. There's the hammer. Goodbye. Fight doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, that disengage came a little bit too close for comfort, but hey, you made it out. You're safe and sound. That's all that matters at the end of the day. So looking forward at these objectives, got another 3.5 minutes towards this next Drake that will put Toronto towards Soul's points. All eyes are going to be on this Baron. Toronto have a really strong Baron take comp. They have multiple sources of damage. Going to be able to do a lot. That's why Humber are very active.
Aurora going to get knocked back. The assassination attempt is here. Down to half HP. Oh, nope. Serotonic's overcommits. Be there to stun him off. A great Shattering Strike. And now the TP is coming. Call an ambulance, but not for UFT. Masquerade goes in a little deep. Is found by Talia, but it's not going to matter. The team is here to clean up. He's falling in their stead. The Alistar on the run, but can't run very far. And Kairu, the killer instinct in Kabuko, is gonna make sure that Ezreal falls under the turrets. Sorry, your turrets don't keep you safe anymore. Look at the health bars of U of T, who are just the villains right now in Humber's story.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit more of what the kind of a team fight we're expecting. Really hard over force from Sertonics, flashing forwards with the Aatrox Q2 and then getting blown up immediately afterwards. You had a good thing going. You chunk out the Aurora, she doesn't feel as comfortable anymore. You need to be able to disengage. You need to take your wins when you get them, but then you give Toronto so much space on the map because of that overextension. You lose both of your tier 2 in mid and in top, and even though Baron wasn't taken quite yet, Toronto don't need to take it. They have scaling out, you know, on their side. They can slow this game down as much as they want to guarantee we don't get another one of those team fights that happened in mid.
Yeah, and now it just becomes one of those things where it's like, you're 9,000 gold down. You need to find a way back in the game. Baron's up. Dragon's going to be spawning in a minute and a half. You don't have turrets.
Yep.
Where do you go? And now Little Star walking into their own jungle, walking a little bit too far up. The Weaver's Wall is going to be used as a defensive measure. Now that tool's even out of your arsenal for this Baron fight, which they're just going to go and start ripping. It takes the bomb plant. There's no way over for them. I think you just pray for a steal. You pray. If Aatrox steals it, the game's alive. If not, I think we're watching UFT Ruby just walk in and win. Yes, Farad's going to take it down even more. Serotonix goes over the wall. He finds it. He finds the steal. Serotonix keeps Humber in the game.
Beautiful, beautiful keeper's verdict. They're able to knock everybody away. Not only does that give them the Baron steal, but it also allows them to escape with all 5 of their lives. Having this Baron is a massive gold injection, a massive XP injection, and now they're going to be able to keep these waves shoved out and prevent sieges on their own base. Really huge pickup here for Humber, especially as in 45 seconds we have this Dragon. Being beefed up by that Baron is exactly the spot you want to be in.
They're trying to take a fight here in the jungle. I think if you're Humber, I just want to see you push. Just take your Baron wave. Screw the Dragon. Go get some turrets. Go get some gold. You can fight on Soul Point. I want to see them take as much of this map as humanly possible while they have this Baron. If they're going to get back in the game, we need some objective bounties. We need to see these T1 turrets fall. We need to see some T2 turrets fall. They've got 3 minutes to get themselves back in the game off the steal from Little Star and Serotonic. Then Little Star is trying to push that tempo right now.
Yeah, you see the Aurora miss her engage. Is going to set her on a bit of a cooldown here for the next 10-15 seconds. The Masquerade is charging forward unwavering. And Toronto, they're not going to back down from this fight. They want the soul point, and they want it now.
The knockup going to come from Little Star. There's going to be the Weaver's Wall to split the team in half. Can they take the fight here? Chunks down Kaisa to half. Kairu needs to push forward. We're not pushing forward. We're letting that Weaver's Wall fall, and now the team's back together. That could be a huge disaster here for Humber if they don't win this fight. Little Star trying to find faith, but there's going to be a huge ultimate coming from the Rel. And now to Leah Chunk to a half, a quarter HP. Kaisa in the backline on the Ezreal. They find the shutdown on Mbetsa, but it's not going to be enough. It's Kaisa just bouncing around, finding the shots. Little Star going to be the last to fall. It's a quadra kill for Kaisa. And now it should be an easy road to end for U of T Ruby.
And I think when you reflect on this game, I think you think about, most importantly, how Humber had so many good opportunities. They had the angles, they had the Weaver's Wall to split the team in half, but that hesitation, that slowness, that inability to follow up in a comp that really demands it is what was ultimately their downfall. And now as Toronto raised the space, they remove the inhibs from play. They get the Nexus Tower, and nobody is up to stop them. We talked about the Baron. We talked about the Dragons. Toronto need no such crutches as they claim the Nexus.
Yeah, U of T Ruby gonna pick up the win and knock Humber out of this tournament, advancing to that semi-final stage. It was a great game from both these teams, but U of T just able to get that gold advantage and for the most part keep it alive. Humber, of course, they had their underdog moments. They kept the game interesting for us. But at the end of the day, you kind of nailed it on the head. It's the hesitancy of those plays. And when you're at a level like this, there is something about just having unwavering confidence in the decisions you're making, regardless if they're the right or wrong ones. In League, you're never going to make the optimal decision. It's how close can you get to it, and are you willing to commit? And there were great Weaver walls. There were great knockbacks. Like, at least, even in the KIE one where they, like, failed and they, like, kind of picked the wrong target, they at least committed to that play, and it went better than if they didn't. In that last fight, with that split, if they commit to that play, I would love to see where that goes. But they hesitated. The Weaver's wall got destroyed, and from there, you know U of T is just stronger than them.
Yeah, I think you summed it up. We're going to change a lot of the game that we saw here today, right? Because you might be able to get away with a game state like that once, but I really would not bank on that. And I think moving forward, we're going to have a lot more, close rounds and close matches.
Yeah, and now with something like this, whereas if you like hesitate and you realize, okay, our problem is that we hesitated, we just need to commit as a team. For someone like Humber, they can go forward and in the next tournament they enter, use that. If that happens in game one and your team assesses it and says, okay, we had some really good plays, here's what we need to fix, let's do that going into game two, you could come back, win game 2-3. I don't think it's impossible that if this is a BO3 series, Humber is the one who advances. I don't think that's an impossible or crazy statement to make. With this BO3, I think Ruby has done a great job at finding that best of one. I'm curious to see what happens now that we're going to be seeing them in a best of 3 matchup. Of course, if they win this, they're going to the finals. We're trying to find out what team they are against, but the only way we're going to be able to go and find this team is if we get to our next matchup. And to get to our next matchup, we, of course, have to go to a break, get ready for the draft lobby, let our producers get some time. So if you want to know who's going to make it through the semifinal stage and who U of T Ruby is going to play, you got to stay with us. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. Stay tuned. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back as we get ready for the semifinals of the CIE League of Legends tournament. Of course, it's day 2. We just witnessed U of T Ruby beat out Humber in the knockout stage. And wouldn't you know it, it's going to be U of T Ruby taking on U of T Sapphire.
Man, I am excited for some U of T on U of T action. So far in this tournament, these two teams have been wreaking havoc. They have dominated most of the games they've been a part in, so now setting them against each other. I was going to say so early, but this is the semifinals. This is your big opportunity to make a big splash. And when your A team fights off against your B team, you got a lot of internal drama, I'd feel like.
Yeah, it's like, you know, these teams have probably scrimmed against each other, with Ruby being the A team, Sapphire being the B team. It's usually like they've definitely scrimmed each other before. That's just how league teams usually work, especially
Yep.
sister teams. The question though becomes, when you're both repping the same school, does that make it more competitive or more stress free? Because no matter what, a U of T team will
Yeah.
advance. But you have that in-house. You have to face those players when you come back in September and are like, so you guys beat us. The panic has to set into some regards. And also, when it's sister teams, you usually know each other so
Yeah.
well. You know the champs that you need banned out already going into it. You know the play styles. The question, how do you change up what they know about you and what you know about them to find cracks in the armor, to find weaknesses, especially when you have two very, very powerful teams? But for us to just get a recap of these teams, let's go ahead. Let's take a look at U of T Sapphire.
All right, I am ready. Now, for those of you that are uninitiated, Ruby is your A team, Sapphire is your B team, so there is really big potential here for an upset. They will never hear the end of it if the B team beats the A team, I'll tell you that for sure. But to start us off with the Sapphire, we've got Siesta, Arky, Allen, the Hollow One, and Accept Defeat.
And of course, on Ruby's side, the matchup you just seen, we had Kai, Kabuko as the ADC, Masquerade as the mid laner, Snow as the jungler, and AB as support. Like you said, yeah, if the A team beats the B team, but to be fair, in this tournament we've seen, both these teams have wreaked havoc. I know yesterday on the knockout broadcast, or sorry, the group stage broadcast, we seen some amazing plays out of Allen. Allen popped off. I remember Accept Defeat being very strong. Siesta with some amazing pop blossoms coming out of that Nico. Arky making a phenomenal top laner. And Hollow in the mid lane. We like, as I believe he played Rise, and we were just seeing Realm Warp after Realm Warp coming in, annihilating bot lanes like there was no tomorrow. Both these teams have a very move around the map, dominate style, push your tempo. I'm really excited to see what these teams are going to draft. So let's go ahead. Let's throw it over to the draft and see and witness what these two are going to do against each other.
All right, we're going to be expecting some pretty similar drafting here from Ruby through the 2 games that have been broadcast from them so far. They have a lot of similar themes. They love their Mbessa, they love their Engage, and they really hate having to leave a fight early. Meanwhile, when we're looking at Sapphire, a little bit more of a wild card. You did touch a little bit upon that Rise. We do see that they have a really big Kiana player, so some assassination potential. I'm looking forward to seeing, personally, if we're going to be seeing many mid lane assassins, because that is, where a lot of enjoyment that I find comes from, that instability in the middle lane can really, like, breed a lot of exciting action.
We do see Kai Zion going to be taken away early in this. Jace going to go. Of course, that's Hollow One's main mid laner who we've seen. I believe we've seen him once in the group stages. Nautilus, AB's Nautilus, going to go. And it looks like Allen's Hecarim is going to be the next to disappear. And once again, these champs, a lot of the times you see a couple general bans of the champions that are strong in the game sometimes. But we're just watching immediately. These bans are targeted. It looks like AB's Rel, the one we just seen, pull out so many amazing stops, some incredible magnetic storms, going to be the next to be banned away. And these are quick. These are quick. Bam, 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 bam.
Yep, quick, super targeted, and for the most part, aimed at the bottom lane. You see Sapphire really hedging their bets here on their bot laners, trying to carry them through. And that's been a lot of the current meta in general. You play around bot, you get your ADC fed, and with that 7th item slot, if you ever do reach it, you want to be the one to get there first. Now, looking forward here for these first picks. We have a lot of valuable options here. Sapphire being the ones to open it up are going to have a lot in their side. That Nico potentially coming out first, though. I can't
I would
say it's a
not be
surprise,
surprised.
but it looks pretty nice.
Siesta's Nico has been
Yeah.
incredible. If they do lock it in, I'm curious if we're going to see an Ezreal paired up with it, if we're going to see a Kaisa paired up with it. A lot of the ADCs, of course, still left on the table. Usually we don't see a ton of ADC bans. I think there's a lot of good stuff that can be paired with this Nico. I imagine the thought is, can we get an Ezreal with it? I don't know that it'll be picked away. I'm curious to see what Ruby's response is to that. Because I think if we see a Nico Ezreal name lane, you have to have a good answer to it.
Yeah, I do see the highlight there of the Ezreal, but I do think there's a lot of potential here for Ruby to snipe it away. Or if it doesn't, I want to see a greedy ADC get picked up here for the Sapphire. I want to see them go all or nothing with it, and especially since now we're in Fearless, you're going to have one opportunity with these characters. Do you really want to blow it right off the rip? I don't really think so.
Yeah, like you said, the fearless draft, you do lose a lot of champions early on. We do see the Ezreal Rakan, very safe lane,
Yep.
very very safe. We're gonna see the Kaisa with the Nico. We of course just seen the Kaisa come out earlier. However, this is gonna be the Kaisa for accept defeat and not for Kabuko. It's gonna be played on the other side, whereas the Ezreal is gonna be Kabuko's champ. And I'm just we've seen both these guys play the opposite champions on stream. We've seen
Yep.
the Kaisa from Ruby. We've seen the Ezreal from Kabuko. So you're playing against champions you're super familiar with and are some of your top mains. Except Defeat and Nico, both on their number one mains. Siesta's Nico, 56% win rate. Except Defeat's Kaisa, 59% win rate. These are high win rates, especially in Masters tier, which these players are from.
Yep.
Aurora, we could see another Aurora pick, only this time it would be on Hollow and not on Masquerade. Or Mbessa. Is that an official Mbessa
Hmm.
lock-in? It is. So Mbessa going to be being played by Arky and not by Kai.
Yeah, honestly, if you just flipped these team names with each other, I would be totally convinced that this is a Ruby draft. You have some of those signature characters that they would look so strong on before. Now they're being wielded against them. So you got to ask the question, right? Am I going to be able to play against this style of composition when it's put onto the other foot, right? As you're rounding out the draft there for
Ooh.
Ruby, okay, I
A's
like where some of this counterplay is going along here. Sapphire committing to again a really strong engaged composition, while Ruby are sort of dipping their toes in a little bit. They have some poke available to them. They have some engage with the Azir and the Rakan. I'm looking forward to see how they round it out.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see the Aurora band away. I know it's a strong pick. It's usually a
Yep.
stronger pick for Ruby than it is for Sapphire. I'm curious what the Sapphire mid options look like. I know he plays a lot of Rise, he plays a lot of Victor. Who do you think would be a good answer into this Azir, and who do you think's a good answer into the Mbessa?
I don't know. When it comes to an answer to the Ambessa, I think the Pompey did a lot of work. If they weren't set behind by so much in that last game, they would have continued to perform. But as to deal with the Azir, you have a couple good options here. If you go and somebody like an Oriana, they can be really lethal with this team composition and can deliver a lot of really good team fighting as well. I think in general, anything that's really strong in the early game, able to poke Azir out, prevent him from getting that farmer, really being comfortable in his own lane, can do wonders for your team.
Yeah, I think I can see the angle. I don't mind Oriana. The only problem with the Oriana I see is Alan is such a powerful damage mage player. Like a lot of scaling mages that I don't know if putting him on an Oriana handicaps him a little bit. I'm also interested to see the jungler still not locked in yet. Are we going to see an R5? Okay, there it is. The Xin Zhao gonna come out. Love to see that Xin Zhao come out. Did a lot of work last game. The only thing is, I mean, Xin Zhao Rakan is a strong duo. Xin Zhao
You
Azir,
know,
it can be good. It can. I feel like Xin Zhao kind of has. I'm not sure how I feel about Xin Zhao on the Ruby right now. I love Xin Zhao, but I don't know that this is my favorite Xin Zhao game. Especially if the
mm,
answer is Jax. If the answer is Jax, it's going to be a really hard match for Xin Zhao.
Yeah, and I think to go on further, right? I think the Xin Zhao actually was one of their weaker points in that last game. You saw how often it got picked off. It didn't really feel like it had too much value. On one hand, that is partially due to that they didn't have any chance for last game, right? Xin is somebody who can really benefit from being able to stick in those fights longer. Having that Rakan to pair with him is going to be pretty good. But when you're looking at what UTS is hovering, you have the Jax locked in, you have a Galio potentially to follow it up. This is a super lethal, super tanky, super uh, everything, right? Composition. You have your widespread of damage types, and oh, it's actually a Vagar.
Ooh.
Okay, I'll
I
go agree.
really I really liked the idea of the Galio there, but I get wanting to go for something more strong on the AP side that gives you a bit more scaling. Because right now, Ruby, they're gonna scale well into the late game. You don't really have an answer if it goes late, which a lot of games do. Obviously, with these two teams, not always, but I don't hate the Vagar pick here. I think that mid lane is gonna be a very slow lane. I'm curious to see whether Azir is just gonna be sticking around or if he's gonna be rotating. Aatrox gonna be the answer to top lane. Huh.
Hmm.
I like Ruby's comp on the face of it. I think Sapphire has better answers into what Ruby wants to do.
Yeah, I think I gotta agree with you here on this one. And we find ourselves in another position where okay, both of these teams will scale, but I like the late game on the Sapphire significantly better. So while I wouldn't say that Ruby has a ticking time bomb ahead of them, it's more like a whittle, like a candle that's eventually going to bleed out and reach the last of its wax. Where Ruby going out to 20 minutes, pushing 30, they're going to be fine. But this Vagar, this Jax, this Kaisa are going to do so much for you. And this Nico, right? We've touched upon it multiple times. This Nico is fantastic, and the angles, the engages, just the absolute amount of randomness that it introduces is going to give Sapphire a leg up unless Ruby are, have their head on a swivel 24/7.
And I think the other thing when we're looking at Ruby is like you were saying with something like Zinzao or Rakan or Aatrox, even Ezreal, you benefit a lot from extended fights, from being able to poke out, from being able to just go in, land your auto attacks, land your skill shots, and just kind of stall out a fight and then engage to finish them off. Sapphire's comp doesn't allow you to do that. Sapphire's comp, they're coming in, they're bursting you, and they are leaving. Either you're going to die in the burst damage, or they're going to be dead. And
Yeah.
that's if you can kill them off quick enough. Kai'Sa's going to kill her instinct in. We're here to finish the job. Pop Blossom, land those Barbel Tangs. I've done my entire abilities. Oh, I'm praying to God you're dead. Jax can kind of extend a fight, but Jax is going to be there to front line while you guys try to send poke until Kaisa and Nico are able to throw themselves in. Vagar's entire job is to click ultimate and just burst you into nothing.
Yep.
Especially in those late games, Vagar damage gets so strong with that primordial burst. And then Mbessa is also just a great frontliner. Is going to do a great job on finding flank angles for anything they need, along with Jax. Jackson also find flank angles if needed. Just public execution someone out of the fight, destroy whatever they need to destroy, and force that team to get split up. And then what do you do in an extended fight when you can never take one? And that's what scares me about Ruby. They're a very cohesive team, but you have a team identity that's looking for drawn out fights against a team that just wants to get in there and burst you and has so many ways of doing it.
All right. So I like the game plans that you laid out for both of these teams, right? You have a really strong presence here from UDS in longer term engagements. Ruby, they're relying on that burst. They want to get in, they want to get out, and they want to do it quickly. What do you think, right? Because I think Sapphire's team comp leaves us with a little bit of ambiguity. Do you see this Jax or the Ambessa going top lane, considering it's an Aatrox?
Ooh.
Hmm.
See, in my head, we're seeing a Jax jungle just because I know how strong Jax jungle is to Xin Zhao. I just know that Jax on the surface doesn't have the world's best clear.
Yep.
I do still think we probably see the Mbessa into the Aatrox. How is Jax at the Aatrox? I think on paper they're roughly an even matchup. I just think Jax is better in the jungle for the sake that Jax destroys Xin Zhao. Jax,
Yeah.
like ever since I've started playing the game, is one of the strongest answers into a Xin Zhao jungle.
Yep.
Especially in those fights. I think you want that Jax roaming around the map.
Yeah, I do see that point in that drawn out engagement. You have that CC denial as well. Zin is really going to suffer a lot into this, but from the angle of the Aatrox matchup, he's a really durable character in that early game. I think Ambessa is going to have a difficult time cut out for her if she tries to cut him down, at least once you have your ultimates online for both of these sides, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think another thing is it's like when you're looking at that top lane matchup, it really can go either way. What I think is the interesting thing with that top matchup is, do we think we're seeing a bloodbath where both of these people try to get ahead, or do we think it's going to be a handshake and then we play for the skirmishes?
I don't know. I think that Ruby are really going to want to try and push their advantage, play for this top side, especially since, Sapphire have really staked a lot of their pressure on this spot. They're going to be down there 24/7 from the looks of things from this draft. And when you're in Ruby's shoes, you have one of two decisions you can make. You can either go and follow them and match them and try to win that 3v3, or you can try and make plays happen on the other side. And having an Aatrox that's significantly ahead is a really big boon. Meanwhile, Ezreal has a really good ability here to play from behind, to play weak side, and try and catch up on all that farm, especially with Rakan there to support him. I do think we can see that as an angle.
Yeah, I think one of the most interesting things that I just looked up. I use Draft Gap sometimes just to take a look at
Yep.
the two teams and see who's where, and it's almost a 50% win rate for both these teams. It's a 49.68 for Sapphire. It's a 50.32 for Ruby, according to the draft analyzer thing that they use for the pin matchups and whatnot. But that's the closest draft I've seen in this league so far.
Yeah, and who else to come from? Yep. And who else to come from but UFT versus UFT, right?
Yeah. UFT versus UFT. Again, they know each other really well. Of course, right now, we are waiting to go into the match. I believe there was another tech issue. And last time when there was a tech issue, all we had to do was pray to our sponsorship gods, and we got into the game. So what do you say we try it again, Spaffles?
All right, I am fully in for it. You want to lead us in?
Ladies and gentlemen, praying to our sponsorship gods, our first sponsorship god of the stream, BMO, to help you focus on what's important. BMO has checkings and savings accounts, credit cards, and borrowing options specifically designed for students. Open a BMO student account and get up to $950 in value, including a $175 cash with BMO's current student offers. You can visit bmo.com/students for more details, and they are also sponsoring us via BMO Next Level, which is a first-of-its-kind program dedicated to helping gamers level up in-game and in real life. Run by Sean Frame, BMO's gaming relations specialist, Sean brings a commitment to helping viewers achieve their financial goals and has a passion for gaming as an active member of the community. You can type !BMO in the chat now for more details. And of course, the one that I know everyone has been really excited about because I've seen you guys putting !raffle in the chat, which you should be doing right now. One of Zero, who has supplied us with 6 gaming mice that make you better at what you do. You can type !raffle in our main chat for a chance to win one of these 6 gaming mice supplied by One of Zero. Code like a maniac, design like a guru, and game like an assassin. Take pride in your setup and look good while you achieve it all. Discover your inspiration, defy definition. Be One of Zero. That work?
Yeah.
Are we gonna be in game?
I feel like 1-0 right now. Do you?
Oh my god. Oh my god, ladies and gentlemen. We're in game. All you have to do is spray to the sponsorships. Oh, it was close. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yep.
We're at least seeing, we can see the runes. Of course, they've gotten to their lanes. Anything interesting you're noticing about any of these early builds, any of these early moments?
Yeah, so I want to point out again, we see that Mbess in the top lane and the Jax in the jungle. Right? Big switch up from what we were expecting. Initially, we thought it was going to be the Jax up there, but it makes a ton of sense. You brought it up before. Jax is going to curb stomp Xin Zhao if they ever meet each other in this jungle. when it comes to the drafts, or when it comes to like the comps or the early itemization, I gotta say First Strike on Veigar is a little bit greedy, but it will help him scale significantly into that late game. I wouldn't be surprised though if he went with like one of the new revamped arcane runes, the blue path.
I was gonna say, what would you have rather seen with the Darkfire Touch, or were you? What would you have considered? Dark Harvest? Like, I know Dark Harvest First Strike is like there a lot. I do like First Strike. I think it gets him in the game quicker, but I understand the argument there.
I actually would have really liked to see that new Arcane Comet, right? Because Arcane Comet got changed quite a bit. It has more damage scaling on the distance you hit people from. And it can help you out a lot, and it doesn't rely so much on burn to help you proc the comets more often. And in return, they actually upped a lot of its base damage in this recent patch.
That, you know, with the changes, that makes sense to me. I could see why that could be a solid thing to have. However, what are you expecting right now from the game? Because right now we're seeing a much slower time than I'm used to seeing either of these teams with.
Yeah, both of these teams are really, you know, taking their time to scale up. I don't think we're going to see too much action until about the 3.5-minute mark.
Oh my god, as we say that, Arky diving under the turret, forced to flash out. Tried to go for that first blood, risking his entire life, and the level up from the Aatrox is going to chase him right into that jungle. Oh my god.
All right, well, okay, you got to ego your friend top laner somehow, and then ultimately it's going to be the Aatrox that secures the first blood kill. You find yourself in a little bit of a no man's land there behind your enemy tier 1 and tier 2s. Anyways, though, right, you got your Aatrox. Gets a kill early. He's going to give you one hell of a time. We have Masquerade, though, looking for this flank on a gank.
Flank on a gank. I like that. I like that terminology. We do see both Jax was lining up for a gank. It's a little bit more so for Masquerade, who looks like they're trying to go. No, everyone's back to base. Everyone's chilling. Everyone's having a grand old time. As it's still pretty slow on the Summoner's Rift at the moment.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot more action. It seems like in this top lane, we just see how low Arky gets.
AB tried to go in, tried to find a knock-up, isn't going to be able to. The Battle Dance and Grand Entrance not going to do enough for him just there. But go ahead. You were saying top lane's looking a bit bloody. You're definitely not wrong.
Yeah, I'm not expecting this level of action, though, especially from the bottom side. Because both of these teams are playing like they're, I don't know, a Draven versus a Corki or something, where you just really have to spread this early lead and you have a lot of early base damage. No, it's an Ezreal and a Kai'Sa who want this scale. They want to hit their first, second item before things start to really get hairy. Yeah.
It's really funny you say that, knowing that Kabuko is a Draven main. It's really, but no, you're right. It's very much an aggressive play style, and I feel like a lot of people like in North America, you either see a lot of people slow things down to a halt, or you see people do the complete opposite, where it's just a lot of over engagements. But it's very controlled between both the UFT teams, and I think what's interesting is the aggression doesn't necessarily come from trying to get a kill, but it comes from just trying to make anybody lose resources to get a CS. In these lanes, farming isn't free. Farming is going to cost you your health. It's going to cost you some mana. It's going to cost you something, because both these teams are making it cost something. And that's a huge mistake you see that separates low elo from high elo. And it's turning everything from getting a minion kill into a small objective.
Yep, hold on, Romeo. We see an early 5.5-minute drag start. We have Alan there hovering over that bot side. He is completely unaware. Not only is he sitting on a ward, but there is somebody on that dragon. And ultimately, Masquerade sneakily walks back towards the respite of his own jungle. And we see as Sapphire trying to find a back.
Oh, they do stop. Nico's back. Xin there stops. Jax is back. They're not going to find the engagement they were looking for. It looked like they were trying to turn it into a 3v2. But U of T Sapphire able to get away as Masquerade is trying to claim the scuttle for free.
Yep, should be able to get this with little to no contest. It would be a bit of a death wish here for Alan to either jump or flash inside the Xin Zhao's general direction. But yeah, that's going to give Ruby a lot more security. There's not really going to be a way for Sapphire to get into that pit without tricking the vision, unless the Jax tries to solo it at this stage of the game, which is going to cost him a lot of HP, and he's going to have to step over ward either way to find it.
Oh, Kai and Arky going back at it. Kai has the level advantage here, using the Darkened Blade. He's going to find 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Yep. Meatloaf.
You see this constant?
He's just trying to make the onslaught. The perks of being a top laner without a mana bar.
Yep, and you know, we avert our gaze back here onto the bottom side. You have this Ezreal finally able to buy their tier, get that get
Arky
the
on
swords
top.
in order.
Allen gonna be jumping in, finds the counter strike. Kai nowhere to go, does use the World Ender. Can he pull one back? He does. He gets the kill. Nowhere to go now. Allen able to finish the job, but a 1-for-1 in a situation like that. Ruby is smiling from ear to ear.
A beautiful trade there, and Allen is going to pick up this follow-up wave. Kai has no TP, so he's going to lose a lot on his way back here, and that is going to be one of the big difference makers. Yes, this Aatrox has kills, but he doesn't have his Shrima Shuffle and a Veigar here on this middle lane. Hollow falls in pretty tragic fashion as he was just trying to make his way back for a big buy.
Masquerade there and welcomed once again, finding a great angle on that Xin Zhao to push a little bit of a tempo advantage on to Azir. There's no PP coming back for that Veigar. Going to lose the wave, and that really, really hurts, especially when you're in a matchup where you're already waiting to scale.
Yep, they're not really, at this stage of the game, there aren't going to be any of those
Kai
huge explosive
doing a ton
slow
of damage. That Infernal Change slows back. The flash is needed to get Arky out of there. Arky gonna survive. Meanwhile, big grand entrance from Abi tries to finish the job on Siesta. It is gonna be Kabuka who's able to find it. Dies to the killer instinct of a set defeat. Both Xin and Jax gonna be showing up here. Support and jungler deciding we don't have the damage for this 2v2. We'll leave the 1-for-1 trade. Our ADC got the kill. We're happy with that. And walking away, it is still a very, very close match 8 minutes into this.
Yeah, one of those things that I want to emphasize here is both of these teams, nobody has finished their core items yet. Nobody has gotten to that first item, and that is when you have a really big spike. See, even though you do see the gold imbalance starting to form, namely on that top side, until this Aatrox has his Eclipse completed, these trades are going to be a lot closer unless, you know, there's a little bit of a hand stiff, which we might be starting to see for.
Yeah, that is kind of the big difference we've been seeing, mostly in the top lane. It's mostly been Kai. No offense to Arky, but Kai has been doing a great job in these 2v1 situations with the Aatrox. We've seen Aatrox is a very powerful 2v1 champ, especially if you can get the heal until heal cut comes through. Aatrox just survives so much. Arky tried to push the tempo really early on and was winning at the very start of this lane, but one bad mistake in not being able to follow up on that tower dive seems to have costed him this lane so far.
Yep, one thing I want to point out is Hollow is sitting at 81 stacks on that Veigar. Decent stacking so far. Usually you want to try and aim for 10 per minute. Being a little bit behind is warranted.
Kai gonna be stuck in a 2v1 again. This time, Allen able to find a kill without Arky falling.
All right, those are the picks that you're looking for to help your top laner out, and especially getting those kills there onto the Jax is gonna help you out a lot because he is going to be that secondary, that off carry for your team. It's gonna do a lot of work for you. You know, we see there on that bottom side, Accept Defeat was really forced to accept some of his own name because he had to surrender so much of that previous wave. Yes, he got a lot of XP. Yes, he's not that far behind in CS so far, but that issue is just going to get worse as he continues to get poked out here.
Yeah, it's a bit painful. However, Pop Blossom available now. No flash on the Nico. But I'm excited to see once that flash comes up what plays they're going to be looking to make in the bot side, especially considering that flash timer is going to be coming up around the drag timer.
Yep. And even if you're not embedding yourself in a minion wave, just being in minion form gives you that mini-map advantage of just hiding off of it. It's so powerful at throwing people off that even though a minion running through the river at you is obviously not real, you're not going to be able to react in time.
Yeah, that mini-map advantage is such a strong asset in Nico's kit. And then on top of that, just the stuns for days while being able to do a decent bit of damage. But we are seeing a 2v3 tower dive. Allen waiting the wings. Masquerade gonna catch him here. Pop Blossom goes forward. His team having a bit of a difficulty here, but the flash forward with the Winds Become Lightning is going to spell disaster onto Nico. Killer Instinct goes in, but Kai'Sa not able to do the damage quick enough. The Void Seeker not fully going through in time. Winds Become Lightning. Goodbye to the Kai'Sa. Now Allen is on the chase. Can he find a B? He turns it into a 2v2. Masquerade and Allen not going to elect to do the 1v1. No jungle combat. Top side, though, going to go at it between Arky and Kai. And with Arky being a level up, Kai forced to back away from this engagement. A lot of bloodshed on the Rift, but still all's even on this U of T skirmish.
Yeah, the public execution there to use the dodge, the Q3 on Aatrox was a really nice touch, able to get him away from a sizable amount of healing. And now we see further pressure here potentially towards a tower dive. Right, one thing I want to zoom out and look at, right, is that bottom lane play really serves to advantage Kabuko. Meanwhile, Allen continues to have more gold funneled into him, which is a good spot to be in, right? You want your jungler to be strong, but at the cost of your AD carry, you're going to start to struggle, especially as you hit those like mid to later game stages and you're really relying on them for a lot of damage. Having a poor Kai'Sa is going to hurt.
Yeah, and it's never feels nice when you're an ADC. Oh my, wait. Arky looking for the dive, realizing, okay, maybe not for me. As Guy world enders and is just ready to go. And Allen now fighting Masquerade in his jungle. We do see Kai on the back of that world ender ending, not really being able to engage this, but Azir are going to be the first to rotate. Veigar are going to follow up, and it looks like the rotations are just saying, hey, everyone, if you go in, we go in. If you go in, we go in. But nobody gonna take that step.
A good old Mexican standoff here. And Arky has a death wish as he flashes in.
Arky saying, hey, now that everyone's gone, you've stayed a little bit too long for my liking, is going to find that successful tower dive to make up for earlier in this match. And just like that, Arky finding a strong advantage in that top lane.
Yep, now UFC Ruby trying to even up that score. We see
B gonna go in. Pop Blossom goes through, only finds a B. There's gonna be the Shreem and Truffle to knock, except the feet away. Goes down, and now Siesta alive by himself under the turret. Here comes Hollow, ready to find a kill. Can we find that Primordial Burst? It's up, and there goes B. Public execution going to not go through, but Kabuko still in a very, very risky position. Trying to dive in. Good night to Ezreal. Masquerade trying to get there, but Allen going to be playing keep away. Azir flashing through the wall. Now it's 2v1 on Allen as Arky gets there a little late. Crescent Guard going to knock him away, and they find the 2-for-2 again. U of T stopping the advantage on U of T. Once again, these players know each other so well.
Really strong counterplaying there. You could see the read on that bot lane play coming from a mile away. And then the catch-22 moment when you're flashing over this wall, and then Allen is just sitting right there waiting for you, and able to secure that pickup. And now you see Kai potentially overextending a little bit beyond his own britches, right? You have that Spear Shogun. It's going to make you very confident, but you're really still disadvantaged in this fight. And now we see Ruby starting up this dragon, able to chunk it low, and you know that Allen is nowhere near, so they're confident in rushing this.
Yeah, and you're feeling very, very good about that. You have your Mountain Drake. It is going to be a Hextech Soul, which is so strong when you have an Ezreal Azir on your team. Oh, that's a really strong soul for U of T Ruby to be stacking.
Yep,
Still
Sapphire
first
now.
tower, yet to fall. Sapphire does look like they might be trying to make a play here on the bot lane. AB is in a warded bush, but there is, of course, that control ward stopping them from seeing. Maybe a 3v2 happening under this turret. We could see it as Siesta tries to his clone, tries to get some abilities burnt. Except that Beat and Siesta deciding, do we stick around or do we just go back to RT2? They are going to stick around, as Zinzao's going to take a little back here.
Yeah, gonna find their way away. Sapphire don't know this quite yet, so they're playing extremely on the defensive. They want to preserve their health as much as possible. Well, is he cheeky a little root there? Catch out Kabuko. Nobody's ready to engage. That's the power of being off vision and keeping your opponent guessing, because you never know. You even see there they're going back to check those Krugs as we see Allen is creeping up here on Masquerade.
Oh, Allen gonna walk in, finds the smite. Masquerade still gets all the little ones, which is where the majority of the gold is. There's gonna be the public execution in as Kai tries to help. Kai goes down immediately. Masquerade gonna fall next. And the power of Jackson and Bessa finds the double kill on Ruby. Meanwhile, bot side of B and Kabuko going to be able to kill the Nico, but accept defeat. Trying to chase down a B. Can he find it? No. Turns his attention to Kabuko. The Grand Entrance gonna miss. It's a 2-for-1 angle as accept defeat able to pull one back.
It was so close. And if you're the Sapphire, you got to be punching yourself right now. Because you have such a good thing going here on this top side, but whenever you pan bot, you also just see an equivalent exchange. You see a double kill happening against you. It's all right though, right, Romeo? If we're looking at this, the Sapphire have a lot to play for, but so do Ruby. The Jax is one of the primary people that you want to have your golden if it's not going to be your Kaisa.
Yeah, the Jax, he's looking like the final boss here. While Arky also starting to make themselves a little strong. We do see a 3v1 on the top that Arky is inevitably going to fall here. There's not a lot of runs he can do without that flash up. And it does look like Masquerade's going to be able to pick him off.
And we are still a bit of a ways away from our future objective spawning. In 2.5 minutes, Baron comes up, and nobody does a 20-minute Baron. Instead, it's going to be the Hextech Dragon and the eventual Hextech Soul that we have a lot to concern ourselves with.
The Hextech Soul is going to be a big one, especially if UFT Ruby can get this next dragon. It is spawning in 2 minutes and 16 seconds. That is a little bit of time to go. They are kind of posturing around this map. Baron's going to be spawning around the same time. Of course, a 20-minute Baron tank is very unlikely to see. But we could see a potential angle where they maybe try to trade it if they're not feeling the fights. We've been very hesitant to do fights, and when we're 18 minutes in at 35k gold apiece, anything can happen in this game.
And we see Kai laying claim to the first tower in the top lane. And he's going to give himself a little bit of a nice gold bounty to go alongside with it. Now Ruby looking to make another play here on this bottom side. It's a 3 versus 3 as Allen shows up. And once bitten, twice shy, we see Masquerade running for the hills.
Yeah, Masquerade not going to be looking to take that 3v3. Going to be playing it safe. And we continue to see a lot of very safe, not necessarily scared, but calculated plays going through here. Trying to just make sure that if we're taking a play, we have at least a 70% chance it goes right. We're not taking any 50-50s that could shake the game. The macro of these two teams is really what's coming to play right now. And it's a lot of farming. It's a lot of just pushing and shoving. And also, we are seeing a little bit of AP coming out of Masquerade, which there's the choice. There's the AP healing that comes out of Xin Zhao in an item like Dusk and Dawn.
Yeah, I like to see that come out. It can really throw your opponents off, especially when it comes to his Q knock-up timers. Being able to just auto Q and then auto again and knock you up to the sky is going to be very threatening. When we look here, though, we have 38 seconds until this dragon spawns. Both of these teams are looking to back and buy as soon as possible. We already have 2 items coming out onto this Azir ahead now of the Vigar. Gonna set themselves up pretty nicely here for this fight, as we also see Ezreal's Monomune is about to pop, and that also provides him with a really nice bump up in damage.
Yeah, when Monomune pops, it's going to be very, very nice for Kabuko. Maybe going to be able to turn some extra damage in these plays. However, 3v3 happening in this mid lane. We do see Veigar coming to creep up. Looking like it's going to be a 4v4 as Dragon spawning in 3 seconds. The TP coming out very, very early from Arky. Already has the wave push. Going to be there before Aatrox and on an amazing flank angle. If he can find it, is pushing up that bot wave. Mid wave, right dead center. These two teams still fighting over control of that mid lane. Some poke coming out. It does look like Ruby wins it by 1 minion, going to enter the river first. But Aatrox still going to be the last to get to this fight. And Bess is waiting on the other side, trying to take that T1 turret. There it is.
If Aatrox chose to walk over, gives himself that TP advantage for post-fight shenaniganery. But in the meanwhile, you see Ruby starting up this dragon, and Sapphire are not looking to go in, as instead they spawn the Rift Herald.
They decide they're going to try to take some towers. Arky does go in on Masquerade. Dragon slain. It is the 3rd dragon. As Pop Blossom goes through, Masquerade able to flash away, but he isn't able to get out as Hollow following him with that Primordial Blast. Kai tries to save his teammate, but Allen going to be there, waiting for his loving arms to claim the kill. And just like that, they're going to get 2 kills and a turret for that Hextech Dragon. The fight still raging on as Azir, Kaisa, and B still alive, taking the fight. Is this a good fight to take? 3v5, but there are low health bars on the side of Sapphire as they start walking over to that Baron pit. this is very risky. Surely they're just backing, right? They're not gonna. Yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, 100%. I don't think he'd start a Baron up this early with health bars looking like that. We see B though still continuing to tempt FaZe a little bit, but is able to land a disengage. So overall, if you're the Ruby, you're very happy with this trade. You lose your top laner, sure, but in exchange, you put yourself on soul points, and you're going to be able to force this extremely early, right before your opponent are starting to hit their big power spikes, right? This Veigar is still 3 levels away from 16. You have this Kaista, who's now completed 2 items, will probably have the 3rd one done, but she's still just going to be an ADC who has, you know, 25-50% crit chance. Is not going to be that threatening in the grand scheme of things. And while you have really set yourself up, you have hit your spikes on most of your characters. This Azira with the Rylai's, you have your Ezreal with his 2-item core, and even when you look at this Aatrox, yes, he's a little bit behind, but once he has that Death's Dance, whatever he's building right now, maybe the Sterix completed, he is going to be pretty strong, like about as strong as you're going to get relative to your opponents this game.
Yeah, and with all these spikes coming out, and a lot of strength coming out of these champions, fights are going to get more and more dangerous. Missteps are going to get more and more dangerous. You do see a little bit of extra gold on the side of Sapphire. It's 2,000 gold. That's nothing to scoff at. However, 3 dragons are going to be what's making up for it on Ruby, and that next dragon in like 3.5 minutes could give them such a huge buff over Sapphire.
And we see both of these teams doing that river dance, considering that vision and making sure that they don't get caught a little bit too far. We see Masquerade choose to take a light engage, but nothing is really going to come from it, as you see Sapphire are oh so cautious, waiting for their opportunity here to strike, as they're operating with very limited vision. They don't know when an opponent is going to be around this corner to try and take advantage of them. And as you see this break here, for everybody to recall, when do you think all this tension is going to explode?
I actually just think it's going to happen around that next dragon. I don't think we're going to see a fight over that Baron. I think it's going to keep being farm up. We're going to keep looking for our 3rd items on like an Azir, on like an Ezreal, on a Kaisa. I mean, I think it looks like Veigar's probably going Rabadon's next.
Yeah.
So it's like we're waiting for huge power spikes. Nobody wants to fight before these power spikes. Honestly, Ruby, it can afford to wait because they want this dragon to be their next objective. Sapphire's up in gold and doesn't want to throw their advantage. It's so scary for both these teams to lose a fight because one spells a big advantage for Sapphire that could lead to the end of the game, and one spells having no advantage in losing the dragon, which then could probably give Ruby the game. This game is still in anyone's hands. We do see Alan trying to make a play. The Shurima Truffle from Azir, just trying to make sure that nothing bad happened on this top side.
Yeah,
on the other side,
I gotta tell you.
We are seeing an engagement. Kai gonna be finding that 3rd Q as Masquerade gonna be following up to help. Arky didn't see him there, but the TP gonna come forward, doesn't knock him up in time, and now Arky on the top side of the map, staying safe with Baron started up. Xin on the other side of the map. TP coming from Aatrox, but it might be too little too late. There's going to be the Essence Flux going forward, the True-Shot Barrage as well. The Baron claimed by Sapphire. They snook it out from under them. Arky still might get caught in a B, trying to make sure that they catch something. Allen and Hollow sticking around. Here comes Kai through the middle. We see some backs happening. They're all split up. Sapphire are going to be caught out here. Pop Blossom forward, but lands nobody. Meanwhile, topside public execution on a Kaboko, who's by himself. His team left him to die. Arky finds the kill, and the rest of his team escapes.
And now all of their attention here is on this Ambessa. Will she be able to escape with that empowered recall? It doesn't look like so. We see as the sharks bloom, we see Azir finds her and soldier, and she's out of here. Able to go back to the rest of her team. 10 seconds on this strike. You see how powerful those resets have been for the members of this team. No, the Veigar doesn't have the Rabadons completed, but it doesn't matter because you have a Kaisa now with 3 items. The 800 bolts is such a good early to mid game item, giving you the guaranteed crits after your ultimate. And if you have guaranteed crits already, it just gives you true damage. What's not to love?
Yeah, and Sapphire, what a beautiful play from them to sneak it out. And now they're at Dragon first. And it does look like they're just going to be able to claim it for free. That True Shot Barrage is going to come a little bit too early. And now They're able to prevent Soul for another 5 minutes. They maintain a 3,000 gold advantage, and they have a Baron buff to try to claim even more on this map.
You have lots of potential here. It is wide open with no more objectives. Sapphire are setting their eyes here on these juicy tier 2s. We see Masquerade might be overextending themselves a little bit too much, recalling in this rush. We see B walking into Allen.
Oh, there it's going to be, the wind becomes lightning. Crescent Guard goes forward on Masquerade, but Pop Blossom and a Counter-Strike going to stun him for days. Is going to go down to accept defeat, but it's a 1-for-1 trade overall. Accept defeat going to be the next to fall off the Ignite. Siesta goes down as well. Allen going golden. Public Execution going to go in and try to help save him. Azir down to one hit, is going to fall to Allen. Arky trying to keep this alive, but Kai healing so much with the Darkened Blade. There's going to be the Infernal Chains, but he's able to dash out of it. B goes in, loses most of his health bar, and has to take a grand entrance and has a grand exit. Vega are going to be walking back to his tower, and it's a 2-for-2 trade once again. 2 more of the Baron buffs down. For some reason, we're seeing Jax and Arky, though, walk into the upper side of the jungle. Arky thinking about going back in the Infernal Chains, barely doesn't pull him back. B trying to manage his distance, making sure he's not going to get caught out. Kai doing a lot of damage. Arky tries to go in for the play. Is going to get shut down. Jax getting baited in. Allen going to get baited in. Goes down as well. It's a shutdown for Ezreal. And just like that, it's all even back up on the Summoner's Rift.
Man, that is tragic. You see how Sapphire breathes a little bit too hard. They had a really strong angle there, catching off Masquerade, catching off B in that bottom side rush. But the fight went too long. You saw how fast Ruby were able to rotate over, and then eventually even Arky and Allen both buying enough space, trying to run into this jungle to escape. But then you see Allen investing not only the rest of his life and his Baron buff to trying to save his teammates, but also the Flash. And it ends up going nowhere. He wasn't able to trade out any kills for it. And even if it was a 1-for-1 trade, there was no avenue for that to be a 1v3. And your life is just so much more valuable than that, man. You're a fed Jax at this stage of the game. It's going to hurt when you're not present for your team.
Yeah, and that shutdown provided so much extra gold to Ezreal, already going to be getting that 4th item over Kai'Sa now. And just like that, it's such a big swing for Ruby in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, they're down a little bit of gold, but their ADC is up gold. And like you said, Jax might be super ahead, but now Kai'Sa is pretty behind.
Yep. Now we see cheeky itemization. We have a Zhonya's now on this Jax.
Oh god, B gonna be caught out here. Is forced to use that ultimate to charm Allen to stay alive. Kabuko's gonna go over the wall. This is gonna pop Blossom onto Masquerade, who's doing a ton of damage. Finds Siesta alongside the help of Kabuko, but Jax should be right on top of him. Paulo gonna make sure that he goes down. Arky in the backline finds both Kabuko. And now it's a 3v3 once again. Another even trade from U of T.
Man, I think Siesta should really consider renaming themselves to Fiesta, because wherever they go, there's always a party. It's always explosive with potential. And that's sort of the role of this Nico. She goes in, it doesn't really matter whether she lives or not, but she's trying to set up her team for success. That success is fleeting though, right? Every single fight we've seen so far has been neutral or worse for the Sapphire, and their lead has been slipping in a really big way. They're really being carried right now by the fact that they had so much gold injected into them in this early game. But now, as we're approaching 30 minutes, this dragon is going to be up in about a minute, minute and a half. You have to get your team together. You have to be ready for this play. And Sapphire have really hit a lot of these big power spikes they were looking for.
Yeah, Sapphire is looking pretty strong. Of course, they have those spikes coming in. I mean, Veigar has that Rabadon's death cap. That's so much damage going into Primordial Burst. You look at Ezreal, though. He's got the 4 items. Azir's got 3 items, working on that 4th. Xin Zhao has, like you said, the cheeky build where he's going to have that able to go golden. A lot of people in this match actually able to go golden. Nico can go golden. Jackson go golden. Lots of people ready to go golden if needed. Dragon getting ready to spawn. We're watching these guys battle over this river once again. It is a little bit split from Sapphire here. It's Veigar and Ambessa looking for a flank. Meanwhile, in the river first is Ruby, which is usually the place you want to be. However, Kabuko has left to try to make sure they have that advantage on the mid lane. Baron has just spawned as well. You know Sapphire can't drop this dragon. Ruby, if they want, could drop it for Baron. They have that option if they need it. The question is, are they going to play out? I highly doubt it. It really seems like they want this soul. And with that dragon spawning, they're going to be starting it right off the hop. We do see that they can't tell that it's about to be started. There we go. Has officially been started. Oh, the public execution going to miss. There's going to be a big charm from B, who goes right in. Pop Blossom, though, finds 4 of them. The counter-strike goes in. Killer Instinct as well. Except the feed going to be in the backline. Gets annihilated by Kabuko. Kai in the front there. Allen able to take him down. Masquerade going to go down next. Counter-strike goes through. Doesn't find anyone, but he jumps onto Kabuko. Goes golden. Kabuko down to 1 HP. Isn't going to be able to find Allen, who flashes through and finds the kill. Allen's outplaying everyone. As Hollow is going to die in a 1-for-1 trade, but the dragon going to be claimed by Sapphire, who stacked their second Hexex Dragon. Smurfed that.
My jaw is on the floor, man. I don't know what I just witnessed, but Allen's name was plastered all over that play, and come out of this victorious. Finally breaking that curse of going even, right? Sapphire starting to pull ahead now, able to start up this Baron, and nobody is going to be back up in time to contest them. So, especially with your ability now to stall this out, give more time for the Flyguard to come up, you're going to have Baron on 4 out of the 5 members of your team with a second dragon, with all this extra gold that you just got from winning this team fight. I mean, Sapphire might not have been looking too strong, but given the situation they're in right now, they are just 1, maybe 2 team fights away from complete victory on map 1.
If there was a fight that decided this game, it was that one of the Dragon Pit. The question is, can Ruby find mistakes to bring it back? If they can claim Hexex Soul, they still have that as a win condition, but I imagine this Baron is going to find a lot for Sapphire. They do miss the Pop Blossom. Perimeter Shuffle going to block out a bit. Crescent Guard knocks them away. Arky in the backline finds Kabuko to open this fight. There's going to be the double kill coming off the back. Allen making sure the counter-strike forces going golden out of Azir. Triple kill now from a very, very strong Vagar. The second tower going to fall. This could be it. This could be the end of the game. Arky on that huge flank. Kai going to just be standing there, and they just FF. They just called it. Oh. Wow.
I mean, that's efficient, I guess. You lose a team fight that significantly. They're charging on your base with a Baron and 4 normal attackers. You're going to lose your base really fast. So
yeah,
moving things along, right? Sapphire now secure with a 1-0 lead, and this is a best of 3. So all they have to do is do that one more time. I mean, Romeo, we saw how turbulent that early game was. I was convinced at a certain point here that Ruby was going to run away with it, especially once they had all of those early dragons, when they had that significant lead. And then Sapphire, through the art of going even, were able to stall out the game long enough for them to get back in.
Yeah, really, really impressive. I think one of the big things we've seen was Ruby getting those 3 dragons and just not being able to finish the job. They just weren't able to finish the story, and because of that, a lot went wrong. Of course, that last team fight in the river is really where the game was decided. I think if whatever team wins that fight in the river wins the game. And we just see, honestly, full credit. One, amazing Pop Blossom. We were talking about how the Nico kept going like even and lower, and they really redeemed themselves with that Pop Blossom in the river, something 4 of them. And then on top of that, the Jax. Allen, oh my God. I like, oh my God, the outplay that Allen did. Like, I'm stunned. Of course, it'd be someone with like a username like Allen, but like, so genuinely, Allen's talent in that play, I think, won Sapphire that first match.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many super notable Allens as well. You got Allen the Alien. You got Allen from Smiling Friends. You've got, I don't know. Are there other Allens?
Allen.
I've named 2.
Allen. No, that's Adam. Speaking of Allen, let's go ahead and check the stats overall, because a lot of players had some really, really good stat lines in this game. So we're going to go ahead and show you guys this post-game breakdown. You can see the goal differential over time never really became that much of a difference until, well, we've seen the 2 things. We've seen the 27 minutes until that team fight happened where they started getting picked before the River team fight. That was a big change. And then, honestly, the only time there was really like a big gold gap was the very end of the game. It was such a close match. You can even see like Ruby had the advantage for the first 17 minutes of the game. Then by 20, it was like even. We slowly see Sapphire take it up, but at this point is when Ruby has stacked 3 dragons and is just ready to make some good plays. And then ultimately, come the end of the game, that river fight makes such a difference. We see a lot of damage. And Bessa, no surprise, fighting the entire game, going to have 33.8 thousand gold. And even though they lost early in lane, they did so
Yeah.
much to make up for it in the flanks. And just Allen. Just to Allen.
One really big thing I want to point out is just how lopsided this graph is. This graph is. You have. I'm gonna be honest. I was expecting Ambessa to be up there, but to be leading the charts with 33.8k, that is still a bit of a surprise to me, right? Considering how in the team fights, at least, she didn't really shine that bright, right? We pointed out this Jax, we pointed out this Vigar, who are your big key factors, but then you have Mbessa as an even bigger fish creeping up above all of them. And then you just see how well the Ezreal on the flip side has been piloted, doing 37.5k. Right? Ezreal is a super technical character. You have to land all your abilities. You have to be able to space. You have to be able to do all of these and do it extremely well. And that's exactly what Kabuko has delivered to us. So it's a shame that we're not going to be able to see it again moving forward, but it does fill me with hope, considering that with a new set of ADCs, once things are not so lopsided anymore, I think that there is going to be some serious potential for this player.
Yeah, one of the big things for both Kabuko and Accept Defeat is both of them really are Kai'Sa Ezreal players, and those champions going to be taken off the board. I think the one big difference between Sapphire and Ruby, though, that we've seen in this match is Sapphire are willing to make plays, even if it gets them killed, to figure out their limits and then push those limits in the match. Whereas Ruby, I think one of the reasons we see Ruby stomp on teams, they're very, very calculated. But I think it's very hard to be calculated against a team that will push their advantages to the very limits. Going into this next game, before we go to break, you tell me
Yep.
right now, what do you think Ruby needs to change to find a victory in that next match?
I don't think they have to change terribly much. You saw how strong their game plan was. You saw how well it was executed, and it was a hero play ultimately that thwarted a lot of their attempts. I think
Mm-hmm.
one thing that you can do, right, is play a little bit safer on the top lane. I know that, Kai was really being forced onto, right? You have this Mbessa who's diving, who's doing all this, but if you're able to calm things down, de-escalate a little bit more, and play safer, right? We did see, okay, it's a little bit of a meme. You get dove by two people under your tower. Just play safe, bro. But
Play safe, bro. Just play safe.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
chill.
I think that there is somewhere on that scale where we can play a little bit safer and allow for our bottom side to carry us much harder, and we will see less of that gap really become an issue.
Well, I'm very curious to see if you end up being right or if they decide they're just going to go right at it like the Battle of the Titans. But the only way we find out what happens, the only way we find out if Sapphire's able to dethrone their A team in Ruby is by getting to the next game. And of course, before we do that, we need to give our voices a little bit of reps. We're going to be going to about a 3-minute break, and then we'll be back with the next game draft. So don't go anywhere. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back as we get ready for game 2 in this semifinal series. Of course, U of T Sapphire one up over their or over their A team right now. We've seen a little bit of an upset, but both these teams are so evenly matched. It might be A and B team, but they very much feel like they're at the same skill level. What was interesting, of course, knockout stages, we've seen a very defined style from both these teams, both being super aggressive, very similarly. This time, we're starting to see where that style separates a little bit. Sapphire, their big con, they overengage a little bit to a fault, but it works for them pushing the tempo and making weird decisions on teams that aren't used to seeing teams play this aggressively.
Yep.
On the other side, Ruby, super calculated, but in some forms, the strangeness of the offense of Sapphire has been able to break through that calculation and force them to play a little bit uncomfortably and a little bit on the back foot. We're waiting to go into the second draft. Is there anything you want to see, any big champion pickups you want to see going into this draft?
There is just so much potential here, right? This is your last opportunity to make a mark if you are University of Toronto Ruby, right? And Sapphire, they just have to continue playing their game. They have been very confident in their abilities so far, and minus a few overcommitments, I don't really want to see any major changes to at least the themes or the styles of draft, right? As we head into here, I'm interested in seeing with Fearless how that's going to augment our experience in the second game draft.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to go to the draft to find out how things change, so we're going to go right over there. Ladies and gentlemen, draft 2. If Sapphire win this game, they're going to the finals. If Ruby wins, we go to a game 3, and it's going to be a late night for all of us. What is guaranteed is we will have a banger of a match in the first ones to indicate anything. Yon going to be taken away. Hecarim going to be taken away. Kiana going to be taken away. Poor Allen losing 2 of his champs right off the bat.
That just puts some respect on Alan's name. You know, remove all of those high prio characters and then open the door for a little bit of your own, right? Now, leading us off potentially with a Pantheon would send a really strong play statements, right?
Yeah, the Pantheon coming out, it could be a support Pantheon, could be a jungle Pantheon, Could even be like a mid or a top. Pantheon is a champion that I feel like just can go anywhere.
Yep.
At Seraphine, we've seen this combo before. It's a
Yep.
very, very powerful poke out lane combo. Not necessarily there for the kills. We're here to stun lock you for days, force you to play into us, not let you do anything. And then when our jungler's here, we're going to make sure you get executed. Karma Varus, one of the strongest bot lanes, just I think you usually see on a burst potential.
Yep. I'm
They
really
need to get
ready.
stuff done in lane.
Yeah, like I'm super ready. I'm super here for the Ruby draft. So far, you have so much explosiveness. You have so much damage that's coming out, and you still have a lot of flex potential. Right? We've seen Karma support for a really long time, so we're a little bit comfortable with it now, but can still be flexed into mid lane, can still be flexed into top,
Mhm.
and has the opportunity to throw your opponents off game. It looks the team seem pretty convinced here that it is going to be support given these bans, right? Taking that Fiora off the board, taking the Cassio off as well. You're you're starting to see some of these strong themes emerge to the draft as Ruby, they want to play your poke, and Sapphire, they want to take these fights and they want to lock you down hard.
Yeah. I mean, right now, Sapphire, if they lock in this Aurora, it could be a bit more of a pokey comp to kind of counter it. I think
Yep.
it is a bit different where Sapphire is going to be looking to poke you out from afar, whereas Ruby is going to be looking to burst you more than anything. We are getting note that it's not a real teamo. Don't get too excited. That is just an Aurora. They just misclicked for the meme. That is an Aurora and not a teamo. I know,
uh,
breaking the heart of our fans. I get it.
uh
I get it. You want the little terrorist rat to be in your game. It's not happening. It's not happening today. Sapphire just wanted to be mean. Ari going to be the counter pick into Aurora. Final pick coming from U of T Ruby. Who's it going to be? Who is going to probably be their top laner? Because I'm pretty sure that's a Pantheon jungle at this point.
yeah, I want to see a tank. I want to see a tank bring us all together, and Cassante has answered my prayers. Now looking at the other
Arky
side,
has a 56% win rate with Cassandra. Is that going to be an Olaf? I don't hate Olaf here. I don't hate Olaf here. I kind of want it. I
yep.
don't think it's going to happen, but I don't hate it. Vladimir would be make more sense. A
Hmm.
53% win rate on that Vladimir if it does come out. We've seen Vladimir come up before to some very, very powerful behavior. The only thing is it makes heal cut so valuable if he locks in either of these. Give us the Olaf. Come on. Come on.
I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting. And a volley hover. Volley bear. I don't know. The Sapphire draft is filling me with a lot of doubt right now, Romeo. It's okay. Okay. Olaf clutched it up. Right. I was gonna say with the Volibear, you're throwing a lot of your themes out the window. You're not being too cohesive, but an Olaf to run through all this CC, mwah, chef's kiss. It works so well, and it will run down your Cassante in lane, and has so much potential here for damage coming out of it.
Yeah, I know you were saying like you're not super confident in Sapphire's draft. After the Olaf
Yeah.
pick, I am.
Yeah.
Just for the sake, and like here's the thing. I get it. Olaf, not the world's best champ. Like I'm a huge Olaf fan just because I used to play him jungle back when he could go jungle. Apparently on this patch he is S tier, which is crazy to me because man has not been that strong in a while. But
Yep.
I think what makes Olaf really fun is Cassandre is a champion that likes to try to run through you. And although I believe Cassandre is very slightly favored into Olaf in higher elo, it's one of those things where both these champions love to take 1v1s. Both these champions love to go into fights. And I think the real thing with them is it's like a 49.5, 50.5% difference. It's going to come to whose jungle is there for first. And Jarvan is such a good champion to be there. Also a
Yep.
great champion to trap someone in the Cataclysm with Olaf, so Olaf can just hit for free. And then on top of that, you have an Ashe and you have a Seraphine. Olaf did such a clear thing in this comp. You're gonna stun someone, you're gonna have encore hit, you're gonna pull them towards you, you're gonna lock them in the pit with Olaf, and Olaf is just gonna beat the hell out of them with those axes.
Yep, really, really strong composition here. But we can't discount what Ruby have going for them. Having this Ari, having the Cassante, right? You have a really strong team composition when it comes to these skirmishes, right? Given, right, Sapphire, once your flashes are down, you're gonna have no way to escape this imminent death. I think Cassante is one of the few characters in the game that can weather that storm and can come out on top. And you have so much range on your other characters that you don't really have to worry about getting engaged on by a Jarvan, at least not as a fight initiator. The big wild card, though, this Pantheon. I want to see how it is used, how it is abused, and what makes it tick, because that impact from the Starfall, when you come in at level 6 behind your opponents in the lane, you're able to make some real magic happen, and that's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah, it's really interesting because like Sapphire has this very clear we engage, we front to back comp.
Yep.
Ruby has front to back works, but like you're saying, someone like Pantheon could hop over a wall, find a flank angle on an Ashe or a Seraphine and take, or an Aurora, and just take out a big player
Yep.
for Sapphire. And also, what they do really well is picks. Picks from both. I mean, from both these teams is going to be strong, but even stronger on the side of Ruby. You have so many lockdown abilities. Pantheon can just kind of slide in there. You have Varus, Chains of Corruption, can just kind of slide in there and find these big picks. We're going to go ahead and get in the game. Already a fight breaking out. Level 1, Arky showing what Olaf does best. Flash Ghost, run down Kai. And we open with a kill in under a minute. Oh my god.
Wow. I mean, what is that? And you see Kai with the greedy Doran's helm. No pot start. And he pays for it. He pays for it dearly. And that's, yeah, it's a brand new item. You want to try it out, but like, come on. Come on. You've seen what an Olaf can do when he gets ahead of you, when he finds you in that bush, and he's constantly able to chip you down. Looking at the entire team.
Ooh, what? Jarvan off the kill earlier, invades. Alan finds Masquerade and says, I do Jarvan things. And of course, Pantheon, not always the most healthy jungle in those first couple of camps, is able to slide in, is able to find Masquerade, and gets an early invade kill. And just like that, like, I mean, if you play League, if you're a jungle, you know one of the worst feelings in the world is either showing up to your red side and your camps are gone, or dying in the jungle early. It is so, like, it is the type of feeling where you're just like, okay, I'm not playing this game again. Oh, CS are getting annihilated under turret right now, down to 1 HP, isn't going to be able to confirm the kill. But, like, the not tilting when you're already down a game is going to be very, very hard.
Yeah, and especially when you're seeing these common patterns repeat. You're already down 2 kills on this top side, and it's just going to continue to get worse for you. And this Olaf is able to build up such a significant advantage, even without a base coming out quite yet. It's a struggle. And, you know, as we approach 3 minutes, as these junglers are finishing up these clears, you're going to continue to see that, as we see Alan already pathing towards the spot side.
Yeah, does unfortunately get caught on that ward. A very, very well-placed ward this early in to stop that gank from happening. But yeah, it becomes one of these things where it's, if you're Alan, you have to decide, am I going to focus bot lane and make sure that Varus and Karma can't do anything, or am I going to help this Olaf really, really extend his advantage? You know Arky's putting his foot on the gas. It's Arky. Arky will be there this whole time. However, we are seeing Alan just living in Masquerade's jungle. Of course, Masquerade went to his side, tried to find some camps, realizes there's nothing there. There's nothing there. The Raptors are spawning, I guess. There's nothing there for you.
Yeah, I'm sitting here 12 to 20, and it's only going to get worse because Alan is feasting on your entire uncontested red side jungle. It's going to be a lot, and you already see how much damage Ruby is taking here under their own tower. You see Kabuko dropping low. The dive is not on the cards quite yet, but it's, again, setting them on that back foot. It's those small advantages that are going to build into a lane kingdom if you let them. We already see, though, Masquerade is not quite finishing that scuttle, has to turn it around for a little bit further than they would like, but has the potential here. Is not going to look for the Olaf. I thought they would. I thought they might.
Another annoyance, though, for, like, if I'm Masquerade, I'm seething right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, that's why I'm an Emerald player, because at that moment, I'm, like, ready to punch out my monitor. Masquerade, though, realizes they might be coming for him, leaves the Gromp behind. Are they going to go deeper? They're not. He's just going to have to go to his Wolves. He's about to realize the most disheartening thing in the world, though. He's going to walk into his red side and realize there is nothing there for him. He is the brokest player on this earth.
Yep, and especially without a reset yet, this Jarvan that beat him 1v1 at level 2 also has 2 long swords over it. That amount of AD is going to make a really big difference. We're going to extend our leads. We have this dragon spawning in 10 seconds. Sapphire should be able to lay claim to it with little to no problem. although we do see Ruby making some moves, potentially looking to contest.
I can feel the tears rolling down Masquerade's
Yep.
face right now. Walking in, you're a level down. You don't even, like, is the back even worth it? Now he's gonna walk. He's gonna try to take that scuttle crab. Alan waiting over the wall. We see Seraphine walking in. This could be a big engagement. There's gonna be the dash in. Alan smites it away. Alan is able to claim that scuttle crab. It is a 3v2. Was it worth it? We're gonna find out. In the top side, Kai gonna be able to kill Arky under his turret. Arky gonna take too many tower shots. There's another flagging drag knocking up Masquerade. Masquerade gonna go down to Hollow on that twofold. Continuing the fight, Alan is a 1-for-1 trade as Ari is able to claim the kill. Both mid laners able to find the kill. There's going to be the charm to stop Hollow from continuing to follow B, and that seems like it's going to be all she wrote for this fight now that those high notes are missing. Wait, they're still following on a turret. I've lied. They're following on a turret. They're continuing to fire upon. We have that Ashe making sure that they can get as much damage off with that Ranger's focus as possible.
Yeah, I think the big difference maker there was just, like you said before, is this back even worth it? Should I be here at all? And I think the answer to both of those questions is yes and no, right? You shouldn't be pushing up this far if you're here with 0 items, mind you, a level down against the Jarvan.
Oh, there's going to be the slow. There's going to be the slow on B. Siesta, not a lot of health. A bit of a dangerous situation for the bot lane of Sapphire, who you can tell, except Defeat really wants to take the fight, but there's not a lot Siesta can do in this moment.
One big pressure relief for UFC Ruby right now is they have their Cassandra here in the top lane, has the Rainbow Vest completed, has a Chain Vest, is going to be really difficult for this Olaf to kill. This Olaf can't really snowball his lead in the same way that you saw in the previous game where you had an Ambessa running up against an Aatrox. So a lot of the pressure is being relieved up there and allows a lot more room for Ruby here to focus on their bot lane. It was their shining force last time. Kubuko was their big shining star, and Alan is
here. Cataclysm available to be used. Is going to take that stun, forces a flash away from Kuboko, but a B, the Ranger's focus, and of course the shots, the volleys, just making sure he can't move. Meanwhile, topside, Ragnarok going to be used, isn't going to be able to follow Kai under the tower, trying to keep it alive as long as possible. All out under the turret, takes a tower shot, is forced to flash away. Kai getting the advantage on that, and sure, he spent all of his money on defense, but when your initial offense is so high, there's going to be a crystal arrow, which misses. I don't even think the follow-up would have been there either.
Yeah,
it's just it's a sad realization for Arky in this fight where he's like, okay, you're just not going to let me do anything. We're going to be sitting here doing nothing for a while. I locked an Olaf. I want to fight. Dragon going to be claimed, though, from UFT Sapphire.
Yep, going the way of Sapphire. Already a really good start to this game, as this is how you extend your lead permanently.
Oh, Hollow avoiding the charm, barely. Yeah. Surviving that one. That charm hits, that's the end of the life for Hollow.
Yeah, and, you know, being forced to back up there at less than half health means that the Ruby are able to go into your topside jungle. What they don't know, though, is a lot of the camps are down. Actually, I lied, because the red buff did just come back up as I said that.
Jarvan going to be there, but it's a 4v1. He sees them taking it. Is he going to go in? I think he has it scouted. I think he might not expect the Karma's up here, though. There's going to be the smite away from Masquerade. They're acting like they're running away. Oh, no, Alan! What? We're not... Oh?
Huh?
I mean, I guess Seraphine's coming up, but, like... Oh, you have Charm and stuff available. See, this is what I mean. Rube, like,
yeah.
I get that's maybe not a 70% play. That's maybe like a 60-40. The difference we see between Ruby and Sapphire would take a 55-45 just to extend their advantage. Sapphire, they keep trying to play calculated. I'm wondering if that decision, you commit so much to going up there, I'm wondering if that decision is going to be something that bites you later on.
Yeah, it's definitely something you'll live to regret, especially now since Ruby are able, or sorry, Sapphire with this, with Alan being alive still, with the pressure the Olaf is able to put down, are going to grab all 3 of these grubs, giving you a lot more pressure on that side lane and just being able to crush down objectives with characters that are traditionally not that fast.
Oh my god, an insane crystal arrow from the bot lane to the mid lane between worlds. Already nowhere to go. Spirit rushes out. How much health? That's gonna literally be, what, 1?
That's 20. That's 20 health.
Kai and Arky on the top. Kai gonna find another kill. Masquerade gonna be diving to the bot side. Uses that Comet Spear to take down Seraphine. 2 more kills found in the pocket of Sapphire. Oh my god. Something happening across each one of these lanes. Our poor observer forced to try to decide what to watch.
That's why you don't count them out until the game is over, until the Nexus falls, because Ruby make plays like that happen like they're a breeze.
Oh, Hollow gonna find Masquerade too deep in the jungle. Cataclysm gonna go forward. Hollow with the TP is gonna pick up the kill on Masquerade. That's a 2 and Aurora. Shades of the knockout stage and shades of the group stage coming back as we see this Aurora getting stronger and stronger.
Yeah, it's just those random picks that always come back to bite them, right? They got those picks, they got the evened up score, then you're always on that run back, able to come through. And we see these lanes are unrelenting, Romeo. They're continuing to fight regardless.
See, poor Arky, just like the base stats of Cassante is so high that this man, he has Bramble, he has Change, he has now bought plated steel caps. It's like Olaf doesn't do any damage to him, and because of his base stats, Cassante just takes those Tofus and just starts ramming them into the face of the Viking, and it doesn't matter.
And I'm not going to lie on top of that as well, going a team out item on Olaf, yeah, sure, it feels good for the wave clear, but if you want to be able to fight your opponent, not going a Black Cleaver, not having any pen at all in your build so far, it's going to suck, and you're setting yourself up for next 5 to 10 minutes of just having to surrender these waves, get half health, and then look at this Abomination still sitting here above 2k, just shoving you in like nothing even happened.
Yeah, and it's like, what do you do? I mean, I guess you're just wave clearing now and waiting.
Yeah.
I think the best advantage Arky can get at this point is going to be finding those side lanes. Finding ways to get into the fight on objectives. But if you do that, you're doing it at the risk of, okay, I'm going to lose some plates, go and try to get an advantage in a different lane, and then come back and fight you. And unfortunately, I think that is the real play Arky's going to end up having to make. Unless Jarvan decides to come help break him out of the lane. Oh, 2-fold strike, just going to do so much damage there immediately. That Hex just taking down a quarter of Ari's HP immediately.
Yeah, and to touch on, like, Jarvan bailing this Olaf out of the lane, that's another one of the disadvantages you have when you're running a double AD topside, is you're both just going to do no damage to the Cassante together. Yeah, you might get up to half health, but he's going to lose that to his all-out form anyways. See an engage here come out as the Dragon's getting used.
Yeah, there's going to be the pull. Alan's going to flag and drag in, but Masquerade's going to land that stun. Flashes away into them. Double flag and drag. There's going to be between worlds. AB not going to be long for it as he's completely sent to the Netherrealm. Masquerade now deciding if he's going to go back in. Just chooses not to. It's a 1-for-0 trade that is turned around by Sapphire. Dragon going to be started here. That's going to be their prize for killing that support unless Masquerade can find something to do about it. Still a level down from Jarvan, hiding that bush. Doesn't know there's a ward there. Going to get volleyed. There's going to be the flag and drag over. Cataclysm going to be used. The Chains of Corruption going to miss. Does find a lot of damage coming out of that piercing arrow, but it's not going to be enough. Is able to find their jungler, but it's a double kill and a 3-0 Ashe now for Sapphire.
Now, losing Alan is going to mean that Sapphire back off of this Drake, at least for now, and gives them an opportunity here to fight another day. We see Arky continuing to trade here on this top lane as nothing is realistically going to come out for this. Yes, Kai can try and go for some fancy kidnap tech, but unless Arky seriously misplays or there's a gank in that lane, both of them are just going to continue to steer each other down. We see Siesta here, looking for a little bit of an angle. He's not going to have the support there from the Ashe. She's committing to this recall. A little bit.
There's going to be the grand starfall, though. The stun goes through. Siesta not going to be able to get far enough away. The shield vault just a little bit too quick. Masquerade slowly, piece by piece, bringing himself back into this game.
Yeah, and I want to further bring our attention to the ADC matchup, right? You see the 3-0-1 Ashe, who is down 15
Jarvan here. Oh, I was hoping Jarvan was going to just immediately go and flag a dragon. Yeah. Masquerade going to be on the dragon.
I mean, he's going to pick it up from themselves. And now this is what they're going to try to do. They're going to try and sneak it away. And you see Masquerade here is already fully conceding it. You're down a level. You're down, you know, over half of an item. And the rest of your team is not ready to back you up. Somehow Kai is losing this in the top side. I didn't think this was impossible.
He does no damage. He's just forced to sit under turret and farm. I mean,
Yeah.
kind of where he wants to be. He has that TP available if he needs it. But he's just chilling. He's having a chill little time.
Yeah, there you go. He backs, comes back to the lane, and acts like nothing really happened. One of the things I was going to point out before is this item differential between these 80 carries was not that significant. But then you also look further at what Ashe is building. Ashe is going Kraken Slayer into crits. Right? Those items are fundamentally more expensive than Varus's. So yes, even though it can be a bit deceiving that Varus, oh, he's almost towards his second item, you've got Youmuu's and probably Opportunity coming up next. So those are two very cheap, like 2,800, 30,000 items. He's realistically not going to have that much power in the long term going to build like that.
And the other thing is you pick Varus to try to win lane against this Ashe. This Ashe has been doing so much work with those crystal arrows into other lanes. Meanwhile, Varus still losing lane on the back of people like Allen, who just won't stop relenting. The crystal arrow gonna miss, but doesn't matter when Cataclysm is just an immediate hit. Encore gonna go through, finds a B, still gonna flag and drag on top of Kabuko. Might have been the wrong target choice, but enough damage going through that Kabuko is still gonna go down and set the feet. Finds the kill. Meanwhile, on the top side, Ragnarok forces him to use a flash forward from Olaf to get out of harm's way as Kai brings him down to almost no HP, and this might be a greedy back. Is he going to be able to get away? He does not, as Kai dashes under the turret, finds the kill, not even having to use all out.
Good exchange there. The Olaf now sitting at 1 and 3. Not a position you want to be in when you are one of your late game carries. We're on this bottom hand side. We see Accept Defeat pressuring this tower, and that's the power of those 3 grubs. You're able to constantly refresh them as the Ashe. You have your Seraphine also focus firing down this turret with you. You're able to do so much, and a backstop is going to buy enough time for a potential rotate here. The Pantheon, I'm sure, spamming that R button, waiting to get in range.
Oh, Ari gonna miss the charm there. Hollow dancing around the mid lane, ready to take another fight. Meanwhile, Jarvan pulling up on the bot side. Ashe still hasn't back, sitting on a sizable amount of gold. Jarvan, though, going to land on top of B, who has not a ton of health, is just tanking it, though, from Masquerade, who's doing so much damage. The high notes, both of them going to land on a B, but the shield is going to be what keeps Karma alive. TP coming forward. It is going to be that Aurora coming in between worlds available for them. Jumps into the abyss, tries to find that twofold hex, isn't going to land. Going to be forced to go back to that mid lane.
Yeah, really ambitious plays there. All right, you can see just how far Ruby is willing to chase Sapphire into the depths of their jungle, between their towers, and try to deny as much time and really stop this Ashe from resetting. Although it gets to a point where they're investing so much into it, they're losing things on the other side of the map. You've seen how Masquerade has been offset this entire run. Off of that kill very early on into that smart pathing there from Allen, you're now you've been 30 CS down this entire time.
Oh, Crystal Arrow gonna go through.
Yep. Okay, well, pass this way through the entire map doesn't quite hit anyone. It's nice to wonder though.
Anyways, as you were saying.
Yeah. I think that the Pantheon here, being set behind so early.
Oh, wait, Chains of Corruption going to go through. There is going to be the Encore. Lots of just stun cancels. Yep. As not a lot going to happen off the back of those either.
You know, you're stuck in a really difficult situation there. Mikhail's being bought up by the Karma this early on is going to be the defining factor onto why Kabuko was able to survive. But now with those key cooldowns down, we see just how ready they are to hunt for these follow-up kills. You have 50 seconds towards this Drake. Your team is set up extremely well in terms of items. You have a PD already on this Ashe. He is going to be space gliding through your team like no problem. And Ruby are really lacking key ways to shut her down, short of Masquerade pulling off a miracle.
Yeah, Masquerade, again, had such a tough time early in this game. Found himself so far behind. He's still 30 CS down. And on a champion like Pantheon that wants to hit 6 and just make as many plays as possible, he's found it, but he started finding it so late in the game. We're now 20 minutes. We're barely breaking out of laning phase. Of course, that top turret did fall. We do see that Herald being used in the mid lane. Probably going to break that mid T1. It does. Lots of towers being taken by Ruby right now, but a fight breaking out of the river. Allen trying to get on top of Artie isn't able to. Siesta gets annihilated by a beautiful arrow. Chains of Corruption gonna go down, and there goes Masquerade as well, and just like that, Ruby in the driver's seat.
Really good double kill there. Really nice catch. And Venus Reptile is still alive in the middle lane.
Hollow taking a lot of damage. Gets charmed.
Wow.
Is going to be finished off by that Ahri. It's a 3-for-0 trade. The second T2 going to fall as well. And they're going to get Dragon for it. And just like that, Ruby finds their advantage.
And they find themselves 2k ahead now. And with the strike to slow down Sapphire's continual ascent to godhood, you are very comfortable now in this position, right? You finally managed to crack a lot of this unstoppable machine that's been hurling its way towards you, and buy yourself a lot of respite. Now, if you are Ruby, you're looking to reset. You're spending all your gold. You're setting out again on this map now with different lane assignments because you have your Varus now located over the mid, ready to fight on any and on practically any situation, right? Skipping the boots entirely, already picking up the Monomune, right? Stacking that up very well. You got a lot of burst and focus fire power here. That's exactly what you need to tackle what Sapphire have, because all things considered, they are 3 very squishy champions.
Yeah, and it's such an interesting game state that we're finding ourselves in. Arky 2 levels down to Kai somehow in this like unwinnable lane for himself. We haven't seen him rotate once, and I'm not sure now that he actually does anything in these team fights. He's still only at 1 item, whereas Cassante 2 items and a Bramble Mess. It's becoming a very difficult game to win when you look at what's going to happen with Cassante during these fights. However, when you look at the bottom of the map, it is still going to be Ruby that's ahead, and we're seeing that 4-4 break out in front of our eyes right now. Alan trying to flash over the wall, overcommitted early, but now Masquerade going to be chunked to half. There's going to be a huge stun, and encore into all 4 between worlds go through. He does die, but it is going to come at the winning of this fight. 4 for 1, all because of one of the greatest encores we have seen at CIE. Oh my God, Siesta. What an amazing death.
I just gotta ask, what happened? Were you auto-pathing? You're walking from mid down to bot, you walk in front of the enemy team, and we have a Cassante flash all out in your face, over committing to the 9 yards.
Oh,
as now he's getting kited out. You have Allen to knock him up, and he's gonna be seeing the fountain very shortly.
It's an ace. It's an unofficial ace for U of T Sapphire. What like a strange play from Kai. We've seen one of the greatest deaths followed by one of the worst ones. I get it. We want to stall Baron. It's not going to happen here. We do see Masquerade trying to get there in time, but it's going to be too little too late. Baron going to be slain. We see the TPs coming through. Are they going to be able to do anything? Can they? Ahri tries to find the stun, but we still have a very healthy Siesta. Wait, Grant Stallfar goes in, is going to find us at the feet, but the knockout going to come from Allen, who's still there. Masquerade finds the shutdown. Onyx at the feet. Arky going to be back, though. Is Olaf finally going to be able to do something? Double kill goes through. Now he's on top of B. Ragnarok not available for him just yet, but he finds a B. Is he going to continue this fight? He sees Kabuko. Flash available. Not going to go for the flash. Finds the 2 for 3 trade. Kai's death does result in them losing 3 Barons. I take it back, Kai. You proved me wrong. That death ended up being better than I expected.
Touch me.
I don't know, man. I think that's a little bit of a stretch. I think that regardless, you had an opportunity there to get a follow-up. You deny the Baron for another 5 seconds by going and running it down early. I think that all the praise really needs to be on the Ahri, on Masquerade, for really following up here and being able to do a lot of damage what they're given. Well, eventually they do get caught out and they do end up paying for it with their lives. You're able to deny so much of this extra pressure, right? We still find Sapphire only ahead by 2k at this point, and as they're starting to set up for this next strike, there's going to be another very close team fight between these two. You know, TP's coming up for both of these sides. You are going to have, you know, our first really big official 5 versus 5. It's, I don't know how else to put it, but that's going to be another one of your defining moments like we saw with what happened last time.
Yeah, so like obviously that last fight could be what gives the big advantage, but this next fight it's still going to be one of the things that decides the game. We see Masquerade trying to go in on Alan, sees Arky there, is panicked a little bit. Cassandra going to be showing up last of this fight. He is already here though. Like you said, the fight 5 coming. There's going to be the Ragnarok on top of Masquerade. The encore goes huge. Alan going to find the Cataclysm, watch 2 of them in the pit, but it's just him there. No follow-up from his team who turned their attention to Kai instead of the actual carries. They do find Kai. It's now a 4v3, but they don't have their jungler. Neither jungler still up here, as it's just the carries when it comes to U of T Ruby. It is going to be 4 members still up for Sapphire. It looks like Olaf is turning his attention to taking that bot T1. Yeah. A big skirmish. Dragon up. Champions are still going to get on the table in time. Grand Starfall is open for Pantheon, which means Sapphire isn't going to be able to go for that dragon just yet, but the Baron buff's coming through. Olaf tearing up that bot lane. Siesta forced to flash. It's Ari's trying to get on top of them. Ari flash still available. Charm ready to go. We see that Spirit Rush getting used pretty early there. B going to get rooted in that bush, and they're starting to posture for this Ocean Drake. There's going to be a big arrow. It's going to miss Hollow. Hollow, invisible, tries to find Ari. Is going to miss that 2-fold Hex. B tries to find an engagement, and they're just, everyone is missing everything because of the sidesteps of their opponents. All 5 members can be back to this fight. A big charm goes through, except the feet going to be completely caught by Masquerade. The shield keeps him up a little bit longer, but that's not going to be enough. Ragnarok now going to go forward, goes on top of Masquerade. The Cataclysm finds Ari and Kabuko, but still no follow-up. Arky loses his Ragnarok, isn't able to get an auto attack off in time. Now Siesta and Hollow on the run. There's going to be the stun. Goodbye to Arky, who gets shut down by the Bears. The worst person who could have been shut down by. Hollow still on the run, is going to be able to get out, but now Dragon gonna be free. Wait, there's the Grand Starfall, forces him to flash between worlds, is used to teleport away from that engagement, and just like that, Ruby turns the tides.
And that is one of your major game swinging team fights there. It started off so well for Sapphire, but the longer it went on, Ruby were able to isolate targets. We saw Alan overcommitting onto that back line, but he was not able to secure any kills. There was no follow-up, and he popped like a balloon. Now with the score tied up 18-18, 2 drags to 2, and just a 1,000 gold difference. This is the closest that these teams have ever been, and it's starting to favor Ruby ever so slightly, right? We have ourselves in a situation where, look at the Karma support items. You have the Shirelius to be able to kite forwards or backwards. You have the Mikhails, not Michaels, the Mikhails to deny a lot of your single-use crowd control. They're sitting so comfortably. This is their zone that we're talking about.
And it becomes one of those things, too, where one of the reasons that we were seeing fights won on the bot side, lots of heals coming out. Now that Cassante's joining them, he has that Bramble Vest. Your entire team kind of gets countered by Mikhails and Brambles. They're 2 of the strongest items. The only person who really is unaffected by this is going to be that Aurora. And I kind of imagine we're going to be seeing a Frozen Heart come out at some point onto Cassante, which is going to make his build even more powerful if he goes down that route, because then even Ashe is going to start feeling the pain as they fight Cassante later and later in this game. And this game feels like it might go into these later stages. It is still a 2,000 gold advantage for Sapphire, but the dragons are evened up. A lot of healing is going to start coming out onto Ruby. Kai going to find Arky here along with Masquerade and Kabuko. And on the board right now, it's going to be 4 members of Ruby left standing on this map. Crystal Arrow going to go. It does find Ari, but Ari going to be able to get away because of the Mikhail from AB. Grand Starfall going to come out as well. It is a 4-4 right now. Cassante a little bit late to it. The Encore going to come out. Lots of damage coming out on top as Alan Cataclysms, 2 of them into the pit. It is going to be Cassante finally getting here. He joins the Resurrect coming on top, as well as Masquerade. Masquerade finds Alan before going down. It's now a 3v3, but it favors Sapphire, who are slowing Kai for days, and Kai gonna get deleted, learning why he needs to buy Frozen Heart. Kabuko on the run, the volley barely hits, the Mikhail's gonna go off, but Karma gonna be the next to fall, and now Kabuko just trying to get away with his life if he can, sends an arrow back. It does hit Hollow, but not enough damage gonna be done. Kabuko gets to live, but the rest of his team, all of his friends, are dead.
That kiting, that movement, you have to put some respect on Defeat's name, and I would be amiss if I didn't point out Siesta's Fiesta there in the middle of that fight. You're able to pull everyone together into your concert and give that opening that Allen needed to jump into your backline and just blow up so many targets. Sapphire, keep finding new ways to run away with this. But now that these teams, right, that was just a skirmish. That is ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, very inconsequential. You do lose Kabuko's flash for this next engagement, but the rest of your team is all coming back up. I think another really big key point to have here is the Guardian Angel on Masquerade is completely out of the picture moving forward. That's going to be down for this next Dragon fight, or the next Baron fight if they choose to take things up north. That is one of the angles that you're going to look for, right? Masquerade having a dead item while already being, 50 CS behind. It's a struggle to be in.
Yeah, it's the struggle right now is kind of real for Ruby. They're trying to find a way back into this game. Of course, it's not like they're drawing dead, but they keep misplaying certain moments, and it's coming to a point where Sapphire's finding wins down in numbers. Cassante not being with his team leading to a 4v4 is what kind of left that fight to get turned on its head. Allen keeps finding some beautiful cataclysms. The encores coming out are so strong, and the identity is going really well. Arky, though, still struggling in these side lanes, and that's what's costing them on the map in between objectives. Ocean Drake gonna spawn. Arky gonna be down that flash.
Yeah, this is one of those things we called out before, right? Your Olaf build is very greedy. You're still running in here with no forms of shred. Yes, you have a little bit on your kit, but you're struggling in the 1v1.
That encore, beautiful flag and drag to extend it into them. Except defeat down to half health is going to get jumped on by a shield vault. Gets stunned, but he has enough health to continue the fight. Masquerade now caught between four of them is going to go down as Arky continuing the chase. Isn't able to find the auto attack. Ragnarok going to end now. But they do have the 4v5. The health bar's looking a little weak, except defeat going to be grabbing some plants, trying to feed himself, getting some nice fuel in him. Allen, caught from the side. A B tries to send himself out with a charm, but it isn't going to land. There's going to be a piercing arrow. It does hit except defeat, lowering the health bars even more. They get the mid push on early. They're walking over to that dragon. It is a 5v4. You have to play into the 5v4 or turn your eyes to Baron. And for some reason, we're so hungry for dragons across these two teams. It is do or die. They're electing to take the 45. Dragon already taken. It's time to pull out. It's time to pull out. They're choosing not to. They're going to be stuck in a bit of a hole. Kai choosing to still go further in. His team going to commit to the play with him. There's going to be the charm. Kai going to get rooted. Team still committing to the play, even though Kai is about to die. And now you have to run away, but it might be too little too late. Ari going to find the charm. Arky on top of a V. Can Kabuko get away? Can Ari get away and try to salvage the bleeding? Oh, Kabuko going to find that piercing arrow. Does turn it around. Meanwhile, Ari trying to spirit rush away. They turned one kill around, but Ari stuck in the depths of the enemy jungle. Oh, they're going to get the back off, but Baron is started. Masquerade up, has Grand Starfall, is going to get caught out. Face checks the bush. You don't want to be doing that this late in the game and get stuck in the Cataclysm Worlds. And it turns around, gets between him, sends him to the gray screen. Except defeat, though. The charm and the orb of deception going to go right through, taking Ash down.
Now, that very last pick up there, the smart play from Ari to catch her off guard, changes a lot about the fate of this game. Now, Sapphire lacking the damage to really take any significant objectives left on this map. Yes, they got that dragon. Yes, they're on Soul's Point now. But again, the game has to slow down to a crawl. Your respawn timers are incredibly long as everyone is approaching level 18. You have to play very carefully here. You got to really know your limits and play within them. This Varus is, to be quite frank, completely outscaled at this stage of the game. He's down 3k, he's playing still with lethality items, and you have some really strong shielding, some really strong survivability that is being used to counter him. No, you're saving race here. As always, is your Ari with her resets, and you're going to have that Cassante who, you saw how even though he was taking the force of 5 people, took 10 to 15 seconds to die. It's a lot. It's a lot you have to contend with, and moving forward, right? We have the JA back up to stall Masquerade's 11th death of the match, just a little bit longer, and as these teams they're preparing, they're hungry for this Baron. Any single catch is going to explode into a full-on fight.
Yeah, and there's a reason the teams are trying to play so close together. Of course, we do see Aurora on the top side has the TP available, except Defeat is shocked that piercing arrow landed. I'm shocked
Yep.
that counters landed. Volley gonna go forward though. AB gonna get stunned there for a bit. The crystal arrow gonna be down. The encore gonna be down. Alan looking for an angle. It is a 5v5 right now. We do see a good gank angle right now from Hollow, who's trying to find a way in. It might be caught out a bit too deep, though. Is in the enemy jungle. Alan going to be flagging, dragging back. Had that Cataclysm up and ready to go. We're seeing a lot of posturing here, lots of poke going forward. We do see Aurora behind enemy lines, still able to go through if they need to. Ari going to find the charm. Chain of Corruption go through. Siesta going to get killed by that piercing arrow, and now Masquerade going to dive in. So is Alan. There's no Cataclysm coming forward. Arky gonna go down. Cataclysm finally lands, but it might be too little too late as B is gonna be the one who barely survives that one now, accept defeat, trying to kite their way out of this. Kai dashing towards them, can't accept defeat, get away. There's gonna be the Grand Starfall looking for accept defeat, isn't able to find it. Meanwhile, Hollow caught in the pit with Ari locked in there, is gonna go down, and now Ruby might be looking to end. Can Ash get back? Ash gonna get caught in the bush by Kai. This might be it. This might be over. Ruby might have just turned this around. Accept defeat. Going to die. Can't do anything. Team not up for another 15 seconds. The wave crashing into their turrets. Just like that is it turns around. Turret 1 gonna get knocked. Turret 2 gonna get knocked. And Ruby going to bring this to a game 3 off the back of a crazy play. Oh my God, I can't believe Sapphire. I can't believe Sapphire lost.
We saw there were signs. We had cracks in the wall, but I wasn't expecting it to explode with confetti, right? We saw just the way that Ruby were able to convert that fight. They were way too far. They were super over invested, but then you saw the position Hollow put themselves in as the Aurora. You saw how they were able to take advantage of it. And despite being down, despite the souls being stuck up against them, Baron on the map, it doesn't matter. You're 35 plus minutes in, your deaths are fatal, you get completely team wiped, and they're going to rush towards that Nexus to end the game.
Yeah, it was kind of heartbreaking to watch that slip away so fast, but that's what makes League such an interesting game. When you play it slow and you have those calculated plays and teams are so close together, one bad fight is what spells disaster. And although the calculated plays of Ruby sometimes keep them from extending a lead because they like to take those 75-25s, they don't like to do anything less than that. It is moments like that when they put their foot on the gas and realize, okay, we're behind, but if we take this play, we win the game. And they take that play, and a team like Sapphires have been bullying for so long and are so used to being like, okay, we can take a 50-50, take a 55-45, we'll coin flip it. Sometimes those little overextends is what can cost them the game, the blink of the eye, and Ruby was able to capitalize that on this game to bring them to game 3.
Yep. Now to take a look at the stat screen, I am super invested into seeing who's going to pop up on the top. I mean, that gold graph looks like a roller coaster. Oh my.
Yeah,
you can
oh my
see
God.
all the way to the end. Sapphire had this in the palm of their hands. And then all the way at the tippy end, there's just a little bit of a spike of blue when they won that 5-0 fight. And I think looking at the damage distribution as well just tells us volumes about just how this played out.
Yeah, like Ruby had that gold advantage. It was never stemmed too far. Even though you're seeing the graph, that graph represents 3K on the tips. That is only a 3,000 gold difference on the tips of these. Drakes, I mean, Ruby did a great job at capturing Drakes when they needed to. We've seen a 2-2 Drake. This game was just so neck and neck throughout the course of it. It was kind of insane for these teams to witness. But I'm at a loss for words. I'm still kind of reeling. We are going to go ahead and take a quick break. Thank you for the raid, by the way. Esports Canada did just send in a raid for us, so we appreciate it. We're going to be going to Game 3. One of these teams are going to get knocked out in this next match. It's either going to be University of Toronto Sapphire or University of Toronto Ruby, who get to go to the finals. The other will be eliminated from CIE and be forced to go home. The only way for you to find out who's going to be here is after the break. So stay tuned and don't go anywhere. It's going to be a quick one. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. My co-caster Spathlas had to head out. Of course, we had that like 30-minute delay at the start, and he is booked probably for another gig. He is a deadlock caster after all as well. So it's just me now and my producers. But that said, we're going to make this real quick. We're going to go right into the draft. They're already going along, and I know you guys want to get back into this action. I know you guys are just biting at the chance to see which UFT team wins. So let's go ahead and head over right to the draft. Guys, to start this off, you can see lots of champions taken out. Of course, it's Fearless round 3. In the top lane, Mbessa gone, Hisante gone, Aatrox gone, Aurora gone. Just in the wrong lane, it's fine. We have Jax gone, Pantheon gone, Xin gone, Jarvan gone. In the mid lane, Veigar gone, Ahri gone, Azir gone, and that's supposed to be the Teemo / Aurora pick. Kai'Sa gone, Varus gone, Ezreal gone, Ashe gone, and of course, Nico, Karma, Rakan, and that Olaf is gone from the top lane. We're seeing more bans. Yone gonna be taken out next. Yone, of course, still the main of Key. I've been mispronouncing it this whole time. Nautilus gonna be gone, the main of AB. Rel gonna be gone, which we've seen earlier today in the knockout stage, which was played very, very effectively by Snow. On the other side, Jace going to be gone from the Hollows arsenal. Allen not going to be able to play his Kiana or his Hecarim. First pick coming out, Sapphire back on the blue side, as per their color. Orianna looking like it's going to be the first pick. We've seen so many drafts where an Orianna would have completed it really, really, really well. I'm happy to see that Orianna's finally going to be making its return to the Rift. So, Orianna, of course, in the knockout stages, we've seen it played to expert affinity. When we've seen it played, there were some amazing shockwaves that came out, and I swear to God, Orianna's a champion that you always forget how much damage that champion does. The answer, I would be very interested. When I'm looking at like some of the champions that are played in this mid lane, you could maybe see. Actually, not certain. I'm looking at all the mid lane picks have either been picked away or just are already something that's been banned. I would like to see what Ruby's going to answer into this. I'm curious if we're going to keep on the trend of the mages. It does look like we're going to lock in a jungle pick first. Looking like they were wanting to take the Nocturne away is going to end up being that Vi. The Nocturne pick obviously would have stopped the Orianna Nocturne combo from coming out, which we've already seen come out in CIE. Very, very strong combo. Vi coming out, though, easy lockdown, of course. Cease and Desist, one of the greatest lockdown ultimates in the jungle. Vi coming out, who are they going to partner up with it? It looks like they're hovering the Akali. I'm being told that the Akali hover is meant to be Akshan. Oh, I might be wrong. It might actually be an Akali that they're looking to lock in here. UFT Ruby really likes to play with our expectations, locking up the Teemo. Maybe going for the Akali. It is going to be... Okay, so the Akshan lock-in is the Akali. That's what I was being told. Thank you to Erie and Android for correcting me on that. So the Akshan is meant to be the Akali. Our system glitched a little. It's fine. Right now, it's a Vi and Akali. We finally have... It is still an AP assassin, but it's going to be an assassin in that mid lane. I expect to see a lot of roams coming out from the UFT Ruby. Masquerade is probably going to be following with Snow, trying to do as much as they can to make moves and make plays around the map. I want to see a strong answer to this, because, of course, Akali's probably going to be able to run circles around Orianna. Bel'Veth being the hover, I'm not in love with that. Oh, wow. We're locking it in. Bel'Veth going to be the lock-in here. Bless me. Sorry about that, guys. Bel'Veth going to be the lock-in here. We're putting a lot of faith into Allen. I mean, Allen's an amazing jungler. But to pick a jungle that is very resource reliant this late into the game, something that's really going to upset your team comp in the sense that Bel'Veth needs to get ahead, but also you have that Orianna with him. I don't know how effective a Bel'Veth Orianna synergy is going to be. Xayah going to be the next pick, followed by a Jinx. I love a Jinx pick. I don't know how I feel about it with the Akali Vi. I need to see more frontline coming up for this Jinx if this Jinx is going to be effective. Right now, it really feels like with the Fearless drafts and all the bans, these teams are fighting to try and get a team comp that they enjoy. We do kind of see that, like, Ruby is trying to keep open the door for a front to back, but with the Akali, it becomes a lot of flanks and maybe trying to just upset team comps in these fights, or upset the team fight so that Jinx can survive long enough. Maybe using the Akali to get an early assist, get Jinx excited. On the other side, we have a lot of playing out and a lot of safety, but not a lot of damage coming through, especially in this early game. Fiora going to be banned away. Soraka going to be banned away. Morgana going to be banned away. Morgana, of course, has been seen again. Very, very strong with the bindings. It is going to be a very interesting match. I'm trying to analyze, see what I think is going to get picked. Looks like they're going to ban away the Darius, looking for something strong in that top lane. When I'm looking at the top lane champions that CIE still plays, I mean, he's a Yasuo player. He's a Gwen player. He likes those mobile champions that can get in there and really stick to you. I wouldn't be surprised to see something like a Gwen if it's an R5 into a very tanky champ. I know we've previously seen Gwen and Cassandra. Cassandra's not on the table. Volibear is a pick that Archie likes that maybe Gwen could be okay into. I don't love that matchup for the Gwen. It for sure what we're going to see here is they're going to lock in their support. The question is, what support are they going to go with? We obviously don't have that Nico on the table. We don't have Rakan. We don't have Karma. We don't have Seraphine. Milio might be the easy lock-in to take it away from Siesta. And that's what they're going to do. I'm curious what they're going to pair with a Xayah. Like, Milio Jinx, I know that's like an okay combo. I'm sure that's just a hover. Okay. I was going to say, don't, I mean, the Lulu, like, I guess, not the Lulu, sorry, the Yumi, I guess, would be okay with the Bel'Veth. Janna would be a very, like, safe pick, but then they really don't have an engage tool. Lulu looks like it's going to be the hover. I mean, it can keep Bel'Veth alive a lot longer. It allows Xayah Lulu to play super safe in lane. This is such a safe match we're looking at. We're going to be seeing Ruby kind of needing to get ahead in the early game and trying to get some of these kills early on, probably on champs like the Orianna, maybe the Lulu. I mean, you can go for Xayah, but of course, when feathers fly, there's just a lot of safety. And when you have a Lulu with polymorph, it's going to be very hard for Jinx to get any early game kills. But I think that Jinx is going to be content to just kind of chill down there and farm with their Milio at their side. I wonder if we'll see maybe some roams from Lulu and Milio, but I need to see something strong coming out of this top lane. Otherwise, we have a very poor. That can't be real. There's no way you select a Vayne blind, right? Vladimir is going to make their scaling impeccable, but it's only going to be a scaling game. And I feel like Sapphire does so much in the early game, it'll be hard for them to switch their play style in that front to something that's so late game reliant. Mordekaiser. I mean, you could, I guess. You can take someone out of a fight. I mean, there's a lot, like a Vi is able to stop you from going that realm. Renekton! I like that! That is a pick that I was looking for from them. Someone who can disrupt this early game. Thank God. Oh, God, thank you. Now we get an interesting lane to talk about. The rest of this draft looks so slow. But that Renekton, it's something that can cover that Bel'Veth while it's farming early. It's something that can get into these fights and disrupt. And it means, despite the R5 counter pick coming in from Ruby, that lane could be so interesting. You're going to want to try to prioritize those purples with that Bel'Veth. And Renekton is a great champ to do that. Also not the worst blind pick in the world. But the question is, what's the answer going to be? And it looks like it is going to be that Gwen. Of course, Gwen is a decent Renekton counter. I believe she's got a 54% win rate into him. But if Bel'Veth is showing up to try to disrupt the fight, we could see a nice 2v2 coming with that Renekton Bel'Veth versus Vi Gwen. But we're going to go over. Apparently the players are already on the rift, so we're going right into the game. No chance to breathe. We're going right here all the way. I think it's really funny. I see Introverted Giraffe chanting for Sapphire since he's not on Ruby right now. AB is. Oh, by the way, Introverted Giraffe, I just want to let you know, I love that name. I think that name is so fun. Akali going to be showing up at this mid lane. We see Alan, of course, dashing around out there. with this solo cast, there might be some slow moments. I apologize for that. Do need to take a chance to breathe every once in a while. And I imagine the start of this game is going to be slow. I think the only lane we're going to see a lot happening in is going to be that top lane. Of course, if you're Kai or Keith, you don't want a lot to happen until you get your first, second item into that Renekton. And I think it's very much going to be Arky's job to make something happen. We're already seeing a fight happening in his bot side. It is going to be Jinx Milio who gets very, very slightly ahead on it. Arky trying to find his way in, has taken a little bit of chunk damage here, is diving in at that level 1, trying to guarantee his level 2. He is going to find that level 2 first, which is something you want. It's to take as much health off of that Gwen early. Isn't going to be able to find an engagement. He's a minion down from hitting that level 2 right now. Jinx and Milio pushing Xayah and Lulu under turret. There should be a little bit more poke potential from Lulu Xayah. Not by a whole lot. I imagine we're going to see Jinx trying to shove those waves in, though, constantly into that bottom turret. Arky going back in again, is getting a sizable amount of damage off, is winning the fight at the moment, but with those 4 stacks on Key, he's able to try to dissuade that Renekton from going any deeper in. Akali, level 2 right now, is in that shroud, making sure that he can't be hit by Hollow. Hollow going to be doing a lot of poke damage with that Orianna. Arky going back in for a play. Arky not taking his foot off the gas for a second. Both of them going to hit level 3 here. We could see the first blood to come very, very shortly from one of these top laners. Vi making their way into the mid lane is looking on that Orianna, is down a little bit of CS, down 4 CS, having a bit of a slower clear. Bel'Veth trying to make his way to those Raptors with the priority of Orianna. Akali tries to eat back, is going to hit the minion with that shuriken flip. Bel'Veth going into those Raptors. Is he going to be able to find the steal? It looks like he stole a couple of them. 18 to 14 on that front. Now the red buff going to be challenged. It looks like Bel'Veth is going to be able to get there first as Vice is going right over to the Crux, but with the back from Renekton might be a very greedy back. Meanwhile, mid lane, Hollow on top of Akali. Can he finish him off? The last auto text to do it. It's a first blood for Orianna, opening up Sapphire in a big way. Bel'Veth now on that Scuttle Crab. Meanwhile, bot side, we're just seeing a lot of pokes back and forth. I'm surprised to see Orianna take down Akali so fast, especially considering Akali was the counter pick into Orianna. I believe that's an Akali favored matchup, if I'm correct. I'm currently looking at the stats on that. Lulu taking a lot of damage right now. Yeah, it is an Akali favored matchup by a bit of points. I imagine it takes Akali a bit of time to get in it, but the roam potential strong. Meanwhile, Kai on top of Arky. The Ignite goes forward, though the heals not as much. Both members going to flash. Arky with a beautiful flash behind. Can he find the stun? He's going to be trying to dash in here in a second. Is it going to be enough? One hit away. That's going to be it. Arky able to be a ruthless predator and slice and dice his way into a Gwen kill. We got 2 1-0s on the side of Sapphire. Orianna looking pretty strong. Renekton looking pretty strong. And now it's going to be Xayah and Siesta who are in a bit of hot water as Vi's coming over the wall. Vault Breaker going to be channeled. Is going to hit Siesta right away. B going to be trying to go forward, but Milio not going to be able to get them there fast enough as Siesta and Xayah able to just walk out with that heal. Only losing heal in that gank. Not as much committal as you would have wanted to see from Ruby on it, especially with how well set up that Vi was. Kabuko just still farming under that turret. We're looking at items in runes right now. Flash down for Renekton. Ignite down for Renekton. Flash down for Gwen. A flash down in the mid lane. Some areas that Vi could potentially target. Kabuko looking kind of low on the HP here, of course. No backs have come out from that bot lane. Still sitting on just the Doran swords. CS numbers looking pretty even across the board. The only real gap we're seeing is between that Orianna and Akali because of that first blood with the wave shove. Arky going to be the first to hit 6. Dominus going to be proc here. Kai on the run. Too far from minions to even try to get close to that level up. Is trying to do as much damage as he can. Bel'Veth going to be rotating as well. Vi going to be rotating. Slice and dice through Kai. Still on the run. Can he get away? Arky trying to keep up, but he might not be able to. Kai might just be out of there. No health, but... Wait, Arky, is he going to go for the tower dive? He's still at full health. Are we going to see it? Kai, Arky going for the tower dive on Kai. Does find the stun. Slice and dice out. One more tower shot. It's going to do it. Kai able to turn it into a 1-for-1 trade. You could have just went back to your wave and furthered your advantage, but no. Arky wanted the early kill. Probably still better for him to advance the game. But it's got to hurt. being level 6 and still only being able to trade 1-for-1. That means when Gwen hits 6, that ultimate will be up. The needlework will be ready to go. Snip, snip, snip. Under turret still, bot lane being as slow as ever. Nice and peaceful. We're back to harmony. It's like you go to the top wave, bam, bam, bam. Bot lane, we're chilling. We're farming our waves. Average ADC gameplay in 2026. Just having a good time. It's the first time we've seen from Accept Defeat, Kabuko, Siesta, and a BE. Just a lot of chill vibes, because there's not a lot they can do. I mean, they keep trying to poke. They keep trying to make getting that CS worth it, but it's just not the easiest thing in the world. And we're going to get a disconnect here as we go into a tech break. My favorite thing as a solo cast is, oh, wait, immediately back. Immediately back. Crazy quick speed on that pause, and I'm very grateful for it. Of course, the pause bug might still occur in a second. Kai, back to lane, is going to be level 6. Needlework up. Dominus still coming back up. Flash is still down. Ignite is going to be up for Renekton, who took that Ignite over the TP. Hollow in that mid lane, trying to get more poke on Akali, is going to be that level up. Of course, here is the freeze from the pause bug. We take a look at items. BF Sword going to come back on Jinx. We have that serrated dirt coming on the Xayah, as both of them about halfway through their items. Lulu getting a little bit more on the support side of things. Masquerade looking for something in the mid lane. Isn't going to find it. Masquerade getting real close to level 6, but we haven't seen a lot of this Vi. Vi usually have very good ganker in those early levels of the game. Bel'Veth is the one who's going to need to hit 6 to start doing stuff, find those grubs. Ignite going to come through. There's the Dominance, but Snip, Snip, and Needlework being used to perfection. Arky forced to dash away. Usually the Renekton's going in with a level 7 Kai. Because of that tower dive that went wrong, is going to do a lot of work now. Renekton might be in a hot spot because of that overly ambitious tower dive. Is able to claim 70 gold in one sweep, though. Good CSing. We love to see some good CSing. Of course, look at the CS number. Still not really a big gap. The biggest gap being the 9 CS in that mid lane between Orianna and Akali. Allen in the enemy jungle trying to claim that blue buff. Is able to swipe it and swipe out. Dragon up. Dragon's been up for a little bit of time now. Blue buff. I was wrong. That is his blue buff that he took. Blue buff up B, trying to help cover it, but Allen is there with Hollow, and Hollow, because he's so ahead in that mid lane right now, is able to hover. Vi going to be forced to go to that top side, which means Dragon is up and free for the taking. Should Allen and gang choose to go for it, and it looks like they are. Dragon going to be started up here. Vi not in the position to do a whole lot about this. I imagine we're going to see Allen take this back and then head to Grubs if Vi and Gwen don't already take it. Renekton being behind on the top side does mean it should be a pretty free Grub take for Vi, but Vi looks like they might want to go for this Dragon instead. They're now level 6. They're ready for the fight. Feathers are going to fly in the bot lane, though, as Xayah trying to find some extra damage through a Feather Storm. Allen going to be dropping the Dragon. Jinx comes up with Allen being half health. He's going to be forced back, and that Dragon should go freely over to Ruby in the turn. The little twist of fate. Wait, Allen staying with his team. Dragon still up. Allen walking to the Dragon. 2,000 HP. It's a coin flip fight in both these teams. We don't often see coin flips. There's going to be the Vault Breaker over. Cease and assist. Polymorph keeps down the line, but Smite's going to go to Ruby. Akali able to finish the job with the execute. And now Hollow in a very rough position. Isn't able to kill Masquerade. Akali on top of him. Shockwave not available for usage, and it looks like it's going to be a double kill for that Akali, who keeps the lead onto the side of Ruby. And just like that, Akali's in a great state to start winning lane. Masquerade now coming to the bot side. Maybe a dive. We see a pretty big wave crashing into this turret. No ultimates available for the bot side. There goes Siesta. They are able to turn it and find Masquerade. That's going to be a double kill. Can he make it a triple? One more tower shot will do it. No, Jinx is going to be able to stay alive, but it's a double kill and a 3-for-1. Jinx is going to be able to crash that wave, though. Gets a gold advantage. Very good for Jinx. I'm sure you're not super unhappy if you're that Xayah almost being able to get the triple kill. That would have really, really turned the tides back to a pretty even gold state across the board. We see Arky maybe looking for a tower dive. Allen going to be diving in as well. Dominus available. The stuns go through it immediately. Kai going to fall. Arky taking the tower. Allen getting the kill. And now Allen able to take that, use his Death in Lavender to power himself up and just start clearing camps away from that Vi. Of course, the Grub's still up as well if the fight ends up getting taken at any point here soon. Lulu going to be moving to the top side. Same with that Milio. Vi slowly taking camps, trying to get there a little bit quicker. Back coming from Arky. Arky going to back and come straight to the Scrubs. TP coming out of Kai Aki, who's ready and sweaty for this Grub fight. Orianna going to be taking it back. Lots of backs across the board right now. Lulu and Milio both ending up in their jungle. Vi looking like they're going to try to counter jungle and steal the red side rather than go for the grubs. Means free grubs over there. But there's going to be the vault breaker onto Siesta after the ball kick. Stops them from going very far. Featherstorm available, but except the speed just being there is enough for them to stop the chase. And now it looks like that's going to lead into a tower dive. Can they find the 2 for nothing here? Siesta ready to go, but Featherstorm available. Siesta, Super Mega Death Rocket, but the Polymorph going to keep him alive for a little bit longer. Akali going to be diving in here, finds the Shuriken Flip. Featherstorm not used just yet, is able to find Akali. Featherstorm now used. B going to go down as well. It's a double kill for Siesta. Siesta down to 1 hit. There's going to be the Vault Breaker. Cease and assist going to end up getting Vi killed, and Orianna there to find the double. Oh my god, what a turn for Sapphire, who find a 4-for-1 trade in a misplayed tower dive by Ruby, and now they're in the driver's seat. Topside, Needlework goes through. Key finding, misses the second Needlework. Arky, though, doesn't have dominance just yet, and now is popped, is able to take the fight. Slice and Dice goes strong. Stun. Arky gonna make it an unofficial ace for Sapphire. Oh my god. Sapphire wanting to be your Canadian intercollegiate champions. They are fighting tooth and nail to make it to this finals, but we've seen Ruby come back before. Twice now has Ruby played on the back foot and found their way back in the game through some amazing micro and a couple of missteps from Sapphire. The over-aggression sometimes does result in the downfall of Sapphire. Will that happen again? That's the story of the game if you're looking at it from this series. Is Ruby going to find another crazy way to upset Sapphire's lead? T1 tower on the top side going to be the next to fall. We're seeing first items coming. Collector's going to be ready for Xayah. We, of course, have that Mana Mune getting stronger, or the Archangel Staff getting stronger and stronger for Orianna. Kraken Slayer on Belveth. We have the Thundered Sky on Vi, rather. Eclipse on that Renekton. All first items available right now for Sapphire. Only the first item of that Vi on Ruby. All the rest of them have to be getting pretty close. Jinx going to start getting annihilated here. Lots of shots being fired as a B is going to go down first. Kabuko able to get away, able to keep himself safe. Dragon bound to be spawning shortly. Going to be the next big objective. Of course, right now, Ruby is up 1 Dragon to none. Soul this game. One can dream of a Cloud Soul. I think Cloud Soul would be really fun. I think an Inferno Soul also be really, really fun to see. I think an Inferno Soul probably benefits Ruby a little bit more than it benefits Sapphire at this stage in the game. Someone like Jinx able to blow up someone fast is going to stop them or start them getting excited for it. Meanwhile, if you get like a Mountain Soul onto something like Sapphire, you can really prevent those kills from coming in early and keep yourself from having a very excited Jinx ready to run down your team. Because I really think when you're looking at these two teams, you're looking at Jinx and Xayah as a large member of the team fights, especially when you're on a team with like Orianna. I mean, Belveth is going to be a big part. Renekton can find flank angles. Of course, Gwen is going to be trying to shut down that Belveth and that Renekton in these fights. It's kind of his one job. And then Akali is going to be trying to disrupt as much as they can. RK looking for a fight on Key. Masquerade going to be here to help. Dominus going to be procced as a defensive measure. Millie are going to be here as well. Needlework, cease and desist. It's a shutdown over to Key. Dragon going to be started on the other side of the map. Allen on that Hextech Dragon means Soul could still be that Infernal Soul. Hextech Dragon should be free. It seems to be a shutdown for Dragon play, which might benefit big time this Gwen to start being able to take over the top side, even though they've lost their first turret. We're seeing as the rift changes, it's going to be the greatest soul of all time, the Cloud Soul. People are ready to go Sonic speeds in this game. Xayah looks really good with it. I mean, Lulu has an easy way of activating it. Same with Orianna, Belveth, and honestly, all of Sapphire do benefit greatly. Meanwhile, on the other side, Jinx is to be one of the best champions in the game with Cloud Soul. However, a huge shockwave is going to spell disaster for Vi. Orianna giving the kill over to Allen, who at this point is 3-1. Allen looking very, very strong on the Belveth pick. I would have been hesitant about it, but Allen proving that he is one of the greatest junglers we've seen at CIE. Allen's so fun to watch. I mean, great name to be paired with it, right? I'm not sure if anyone here watches Beville Dirt League, but that's all I think when I see Allen. Allen. I crack myself up. I hope I'm cracking up you viewers at home. Ultra Mega Fire Kick. Gonna go right into the face of that minion. That poor minion had a job, had a family, and Milio had to go and kick a soccer ball into his head. We're seeing Yomu's ties on Jinx coming through. Hextech Gunblade gonna come through on that Akali. Asher's Tooth, of course. On Gwen, it looks like maybe a Leandri's getting built next. Fights happening in the jungle. Belveth coming forward. That red buff. His whole team coming to back him up. It's 5 men in this top side jungle. Akali's gonna be the only one on the bot side of the map right now. We could see maybe a fight breaking out. Rift Herald should be spawning shortly as well. Cloud Dragon going to spawn in 3 minutes and 24 seconds. I'm incorrect. Rift Herald's already been taken. Rift Herald's already been taken by Alan out from under our noses. He has that Rift Herald available and ready to go. I imagine he's going to be using it to take this T1 turret in the mid and finally break open the last T1 turret. 2 turrets taken already for Sapphire. Ruby still yet to take any of their T1s. Fight breaking out the midway lane. Alan happy to take out Akali, but here's going to be the Vault Breaker coming through for Masquerade. Season Assist goes forward, but the Shockwave's going to happen. There's a Polymorph on Alan, keeping him alive a little bit longer. Shutdown goes through for Akali, but they're going to lose their life forts. Yes, they're going to be one claiming the kill. Very unfortunate. And if you're Sapphire, Vault Breaker's going to go forward. Hollow taking a ton of damage just out the front. Featherstorm still available for accept defeat should they choose to use it, but it's just going to be a lot of poke damage. You trade 1 for 1. If you're Ruby, you're very happy with that. You get the shutdown, and it's going to be Lulu who gets the kill. You're not too upset if the support's the one getting the kill. But now, Masquerade might be going too deep, as accept defeat just does so much damage, making poor Masquerade fall to his knees and completely ruin that play. Now, Arky flash stun. There's gonna be the Dominus. He might have been in over his head as Arky gonna find another kill in the top lane. Akali gonna be forced to come back it up so that the D2 turret doesn't fall. And Arky making great use of this Redactin pick. Everything falling up. Finds the sun, slices and dices in and out. Is taking a lot of damage here though. Akali doesn't have that ultimate, but it doesn't matter when you can just shuriken flip your way into another kill. Akali looking like they're gonna have to put Ruby on their back until Jinx is ready to play. Jinx still gonna be a couple items from being strong enough to start one of these team fights, and it seems like Akali is going to be the chosen champion until then. Finds Alan. It's considering the chase. Alan realizing he might be in over his head, even with that Endless Banquet, not gonna be ready for a fight just yet. Dragon probably about a minute and a half from spawning. It is that Cloud Dragon to help people move across the map. Of course, Akali gonna be someone who benefits greatly from a dragon like that in terms of stacking it. Very, very, very difficult situation for both of these teams. You know you're worried. If you're Ruby, you're down gold, adverse being knocked out, but you have avenues to win this late game. If you're Sapphire, your mid games where you excel, you want to put your foot on the gas, but at the same time, you don't want to throw away your lead. You did that last game. You know how punishing Ruby can be. Masquerade going to be in that bush, is going to go over the wall, stop, accept defeat from being able to kill him. A bit of a slower pace finally being seen on this Rift, giving everyone a chance to breathe, find those second items. You look at someone like Belveth, they have that Shredebreaker, they have that Kraken Slayer, they're 1 item off of being God. You want that Jinx to get a second item. Of course, Xayah is going to want to push the tempo. They have the Collectors. They have the item that makes all of your abilities go super fast. You're 1 item away from doing some real damage because the Fury Quick Blade isn't necessarily the best for doing damage. Collector, you get some of that early gold, but you usually want to pair that with a 3rd item. But being an item ahead of Jinx might make you more inclined to take some of these fights. However, Siesta going to be caught out. There's going to be the cease and desist. Shockwave tries to keep Siesta alive, but it's not going to be enough as Jinx gets the shutdown, and now she is happy. She is excited, and you need to get the hell out of there if you're Sapphire, and they do. They run all the way to the bank. Siesta going down. That's a big kill over to Jinx. Dragon going to spawn. Should be a free dragon for Ruby. There's nothing you can really do if you're Sapphire. Alan maybe goes for the steal. Probably not worth giving that gold over on top of what's probably a dragon. Renekton gonna try to pull some stuff back. He's able to get that T-turret on that top side. He's almost gonna be at that 3rd item. He's probably gonna be the first one to get to that 3rd item. You're seeing him already get the tunnelers. Cloud Drake officially claimed Baron coming up in 15 seconds. You usually don't see 20-minute Barons, but you know these teams like to excel advantage. You know if a pick happens, that Baron objective is up for grabs, especially if that pick is the jungler. Oh, Arky dashing through the wave, finds a stun dominance. He never is safe in this lane, especially when his entire team's in his base. Needlework going through, trying to get some damage. He gets a stun, but Arky able to survive with an inch of HP. I think Key thought he was going to be able to turn it back, and he was so close to Mega Death Rocket, almost cuts off Arky's head, but it's not enough. He's able to get out of the way, and Renekton showing why the brother of Nasus is so powerful in matches like these. In those game threes, if you trust yourself as a League player, if you're confident, you are on your 4th game of the day, that stamina and that confidence to be unwavering at all times, the mental fortitude of Arky to say, hey, sure we throw, oh my god, it's gonna cut me off here. Allen gonna be polymorph as the team tries to take a 4v4. There goes Hollow. It's now a 5v4. Renekton still being up. Rift Herald crashing to the T2 turret. Already got the T1 turret down. Is getting a sizable amount of the place down. Now Gwen going to be coming to me in that mid lane. And they're trying to fall back, create any pressure they can to threaten Baron and force them to take a misplay. What a fight to break out of nowhere. Scuttle going to be taken. Going to get some extra vision on the map. We're seeing the map very, very bright for Sapphire. Very, very dark if you're Ruby. Almost no wards placed. Trying to get some of the defensive vision in your jungle so you can move the line forward. Allen not going to see Masquerade and Akali working together, but Hollow there. Make sure that they keep that shield, that dissonance on. Meanwhile, Key man, my man, you absolutely slaughtered it every game I've watched you. But right now, you know the definition of insanity. Doing the same damn thing over and over again and expecting different results. And Key, right now, is doing just that. He is going in over and over again. Still no boots. Over and over. And just giving this Renekton money. I get you want to defend your lane. Do it under your tower. You can't afford to keep giving kills to Arky. You're making this game one step harder than another. If we can go ahead and take a look at the individual goals of all these players. I want to see how far ahead Renekton is in this moment. Right now, he's sitting on 150 gold bounty. He's got 3 items. Spear Shojin, those Omnivamp boots that scale with kills. And he keeps finding the kills from that Gwen. Looking like he's in a very good position. 10,800 gold compared to that 7,000 is half the gold gap for his team. Oh, another fight going to be breaking out, though. There's going to be a cease and desist right on top of Allen. Allen trying to dive back in. Akali in the backline. Watch the Akali as they go. They are going to find Siesta. Allen going to find Kabuko. And oh my god, the needlework is doing so much damage. Guys trying to prove their worth. But a 3-level up Arky able to take down both the Vi and the Gwen. Milio going to be the only survivor of the bloodbath to lose both their ADC and their support, but they should still be able to take Baron because of the damage Belveth does. A huge win, and that might spell it for Ruby when we're looking back at this game. That fight might be what destroys them. Having a Jinx not at 3 items, taking a fight like that is so dangerous. They're going to lose Baron. They're officially going to be 10,000 gold behind. Objective bounties becoming available for them. That's going to be their only way back into this game. They're lucky that there's no soul point for Sapphire. Maybe you can try to threaten the soul. You'd have to be very lucky. You get some steals from Vi. Super Mega Death Rocket. Renekton doing exactly what he needs to do. Steps out of the pit. Says, if you're coming with Mega Death Rocket, it's going to hit me, not the Baron. Arky able to claim the Baron for free. 50.8 thousand gold to 41.7. Just the money battle right now. The wallets not in the A-team's pocket right now. I promise you at the end of this, University of Toronto, one of them are going to make it to finals. It's not looking like it's going to be Ruby. You need a huge upset. You need to see a mistake. How do you do that? Akali and Vi need to find a pick. Jinx needs the assist, and you need to turn them into a winning fight. Arky right now, so many levels up. Allen's a level up. Hollow's a level up. The only lane that's even is that Xayah Jinx lane, and even Xayah still has that extra item. They have that Infinity's Edge. They do so much damage right now while being a very, very safe chance to play. Masquerade fails to use the Vault Breaker to get over the wall. Is going to get stunned up now. They tried to flash away. Oh, God, the mental! The mental that just got broken. Oh, no! You fail to Q over the wall. Then you fail, well, you get the flash over, but it's still going to cost you. You lose so much because you misplaced your Q. It happens to everyone. Cloud Dragon to be playing, but it happens to everyone. One of the worst feelings in the world. Oh, God. Gwen pulling a lot of objective bounties back into the pockets of Ruby by that split push, but now Renekton going to be there, probably going to finish them off really easily. Siesta trying to make sure they didn't overstay. Sapphire finds the kill on Akali. Allen gonna be diving in, finds Kabuko. They're putting this match to bed. They're gonna make it to the finals. They're one step away. The inhib going to fall. The TP coming from Arky. Hollow walking in with his team, except defeat. They're taking it one by one. Masquerade still on the board. It's just him and B. They have no damage. The second turn gonna fall, and then it's gonna be the Nexus. Ladies and gentlemen, U of T Sapphire dethroned their A team, and they're going to the finals. What a performance from U of T Sapphire. Able to go the distance, playing 4 matches in a row to get to this point. They beat their sister team, the team that everyone calls the University of Toronto A team. They find a way to push through, and their offense, their constant offense, almost reminiscent of a Korean team, gets them to the finals of the Canadian Intercollegiate Exhibition. Insane performance. Let's go ahead and take a look at these stats. The damage charts are going to be insane this game. Let's take a look. Renekton, 29.6k. Constantly butting heads with that Gwen. Gwen, the counter pick, usually does good into the next matchup, but he got ahead early, and he did what needs to be done, completely making up for that Olaf match. Belveth, not a lot of damage, but he was there to claim the kills. A lot of his team funneled kills into him when they needed to. We've seen Renekton donate kills. We've seen Orianna donate kills to Allen. And Allen proving that he can play so many different types of jungle. You need him on a Jarvan, he's there. You need him on a Belveth, he's there. Orianna, one of the first times we're seeing a supportive mid laner come out for this team. And it was just done so well. Very, very charitable with those kills. Was finding roams when needed. Was making sure the ball placement was on point, and some great shockwaves coming out. Of course, accept defeat on that Xayah, able to do so much work in this match. Able to, one of the biggest turns we've seen was that 4-man tower dive where accept defeat and Siesta are able to just find the victory under the turret despite being in such a numbers disadvantage, which really flipped the game on the head and gave the biggest goal advantage to Sapphire early in this match. Absolutely incredible performance from both these teams. If you ask me who the MVP is and who the dark horse is, when I look at the dark horse of U of T Ruby, I kinda want to give it to, oh, that's just kind of hard. Masquerade obviously had a really difficult game in the second one. Key had a really difficult game in this one. It probably goes to, I mean, it either has to go to Snow or Kabuko. I do think we've seen a lot of good plays with Kabuko, but he was consistently behind the lane. I'd probably give it to Snow. I think Snow was one of the only things keeping them alive in this game. I think in the past, we've seen Kabuko on some really, really strong champions in that mid lane, able to get a lot of work done. On the other side, maybe it's because I'm a jungle main. Allen put in so much work this game and all series. Allen, phenomenal job. Honestly, he's a jungler I wish I was. He knows when to pull back. He knows when to dive. He knows how to further his advantage. I also just want to say, like, a player like Arky on your team, man, like, I think even though Arky had some like questionable KDAs at point, having a player who can just have the mental fortitude and put his foot on the gas at all times, incredible. To be fair, all of Sapphire is going to be a really, really difficult team to beat. But that's going to be our night. We are going to go ahead and thank our sponsors. And while I thank these sponsors, I'm going to see who they're playing for the finals. So if you want to know who made the finals on the TMU end, of course, we had another stream doing it. But I am also going to check for you guys. Before we do that, though, before I let you guys find out, because I need to leave a cliffhanger for our sponsors, right? We didn't have a break to read it here, so we're going to do it right now. Ladies and gentlemen, please thank the sponsors of the Canadian Intercollegiate Exhibition. Of course, that's going to be BMO and BMO Next Level to help you focus on what's important. BMO has checking and savings accounts, credit cards, and borrowing options specifically designed for students. Open a BMO student account and get up to $950 value, including $175 cash with BMO's current student options. Visit bmo.com/students for details. Of course, there's also BMO Next Level, a first-of-its-kind program dedicated to helping gamers level up in game and in real life, run by Sean Frame, BMO's gaming relations specialist. Sean brings a commitment to helping viewers achieve their financial goals and has a passion for gaming and is an active member of the community. If you type in !BMO, you can get more details in the chat. And finally, if you want to win some free gaming supplies, One of Zero has given us 6 gaming mice to help you make you better at what you do. Type !raffle in the stream before we go out today for a chance to win one of 6 gaming mice that was supplied by 1UP. You can code like a maniac, design like a guru, and game like an assassin. Take pride in your setup and look good while you're doing it. Discover inspiration, defy definition. Be 1UP. You can go ahead and type !raffle in the chat now. The official giveaway will be on May 9th, which is the last day of CIE. And now I'm seeing, of course, okay, tomorrow's going to be a banger. It's UTM versus U of T Sapphire. That is going to be an incredible match. If you want to tune in, we're live at 7 p.m. Best of 5. One of those teams are going to take it home. So if you want to be here to see it, we'll be back tomorrow, 7 p.m. Be there. Goodbye, folks.